Welcome to part 4 of What If Naruto Awakens a Chakra Molding Bloodline and Gets Harem with Fem Haku. Don't forget to like and subscribe as it motivates me to upload more videos in the future, and as always, link to the fanfiction is in the description. Chapter 25. The next morning Naruto woke up to hearing a knock on his apartment's door. So, he tried to rub the tiredness out of his eyes and get up, but was stopped from moving when he noticed that there was a now familiar weight on his side. For looking down he saw a now waking up Haku right next to him in her normal sleepwear. Course he could only mumble out a quick good morning before wiggling out of her hold to see who woke him up earlier than he wanted to. Hello, Naruto mumbled out while opening the door, only to see an Anbu standing there, and quickly got more focused. Hokage-sama requires your presence in her office immediately. The man told Naruto before quickly disappearing from the area. Well, I guess I have to go see what Ba-chan wants. Naruto told himself before walking back into the apartment to get ready. Then after that small amount of time he began his trip towards the Hokage Tower, though not before giving Haku a quick hug. Hokage Tower. Hey Ba-chan, what's up? Naruto happily asks as he runs into the room without even bothering to knock. Course after he made it in, he saw Tsunade sitting at her desk with Shikamaru standing in front of her. Though the thing that drew his attention the most was two Chunin jackets laying on the table. Damn Gaki, about time you got here, and stop calling me that, Tsunade growled out at the blonde before letting it go and simply getting Naruto to stand next to Shikamaru. Anyways, after reviewing both of your exams, the council and I have agreed that both you Shikamaru Nara and Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze should be promoted to the rank Chunin. May you continue to serve this village and keep the will of fire burning. Tsunade told them, clearly giving a basic speech made for this ceremony, especially since she then went into a long explanation of their new rules and expectations. Troublesome, was all that came out of the Nara boy's mouth as he put on his new jacket, though you could see that he was proud of himself just by the look in his eyes. Meanwhile Naruto had a large smile on his face as he took the jacket but didn't put it on, seeing as he already was wearing a Chunin uniform. Course after they received their new rank, Tsunade dismissed both of them and they happily walked out of her office. So, Shikamaru, how does it feel to know that we are the first of the group to get a higher rank? Naruto asked the lazy boy happily. It will be troublesome to have new responsibilities, but at least it will keep my mother off my back for a while. Shikamaru mumbled out with a short yawn at the end. Though how are you so happy even though that mission went so bad? Shikamaru asked the blonde, remembering why he was so stressed that he couldn't get nearly as much sleep as he wanted. How are you so happy? After all, it was your teammate that left and all of us got pretty badly hurt on my watch. Not to mention that you were the worst of us all, with even poison blocking your healing factor. Shikamaru though, as he watched the blonde lose his smile and get serious. Shikamaru, what happened in that mission happened, we can't do anything to fix it. So, what if the bastard left with our resident bastard? We tried our best to stop him and didn't manage to due to being overpowered. It is best just to look past failures and work harder to not have another. Though at least we all came back from this failure. Naruto told his friend, who looked surprised. How can you be this calm when not only did we fail but everyone got hurt, but me? I mean you all. We're stuck in the hospital for days in critical condition. And you were the worst off. Yes, but we all made it through. Naruto told him with a shrug, shocking the genius even more. But you all nearly died. Under my command. I basically sent you to your deaths. Shikamaru told him, ashamed of how badly he performed during the mission, but stopped his depressing thoughts out of surprise when he felt Naruto grab his shoulder. Listen Shikamaru, you did the best you could, and probably better than any of us could. You just didn't know what we were gonna face, and had no way to know that either. Plus, we are ninja, we know that we may die at any time and are at peace with it. So, don't beat yourself up over one tough mission. We need that brain of yours to stay sharp and let us next time. Naruto told him, then gave him a pat on the back. Now let's go celebrate with the gang with a few bowls of ramen. Naruto told Shikamaru, who was still standing in the same place before shaking his head and slowly following his fast pace back out into the village. Naruto, I never will understand how you are able to make people feel better after a few simple words. People may think you are stupid, but you do have some skills that it seems people just aren't aware of. He thought as he followed the blonde at a slower pace. Few hours later, Akamichi Grill and Bar. Not sure what the actual place is, but picture the restaurant you see Shikamaru and the rest of his team eating at. Not sure if it was ever named, but it suits a restaurant to be with their family. After a bit of effort, Naruto managed to get most of the other teams to come and have a celebration with him for lunch. In fact, the only people that couldn't make it was Neji due to his duty to his clan and the traitor, Sasuke. Though instead Naruto managed to talk Jiraiya, Tsunade, Anko, Iruka, Ayame, Haku, Konohamaru and his friends to come with them. Thanks everyone for coming to eat with us as me and Shikamaru celebrate our rank up. Naruto called out happily to their large group before sitting down between Hinata and Ayame. This also ended up being the seats right across from Haku and Ino, who currently looked slightly annoyed with their two harem sisters. Che, next time I will win the good seats. Ino thought, slightly glaring at Ayame, who took advantage of sitting close to Naruto to draw him in for a hug and a kiss on the cheek for a congratulations gift. Why did my luck have to be so terrible that I couldn't even sit next to my master in case he wanted me to help him? Haku thought, slightly depressed even as she blushed at the thought of happily feeding Naruto as he smiled at her. Course both of them only were disappointed, seeing as their small group had drawn straws to see who would sit with Naruto, which ended up leaving Ayame and Hinata as the winners. Still, this didn't keep them down for too long, seeing as the party soon started up with everyone talking and enjoying themselves as food was passed around. So, all in all, everyone was having a good time with their friends. Wow, Akamaru, who would have thought that Naruto of all people would have ever gotten ahead of us in rank? Kiba told his dog, then laughed at the glare Naruto was giving him. Shut up, Kibble Breath, you are just jealous. Naruto growled at the brown-haired boy. Che, as if anyone could be jealous of someone who was the class's idiot. Kiba muttered, causing Naruto to glare at him. Boys, stop it now. Hinata ordered both of them in a tone that both of them didn't even think she could possess. In fact, she even was slightly glaring at them to show how serious she was. This stopped their argument fast, seeing as they were too shocked to hear Hinata not only being louder than normal but also gave an order. Wow, Hinata, I didn't think you had it in ya. Kiba told the girl with a smirk, then looked to Naruto. Looks like you managed to find the perfect person to keep your stupidity in check. Kiba told the blonde with a chuckle. Shut up, was all Naruto told his friend and old rival before putting a hand over Hinata's shoulder and drawing her in for a one-armed hug. Though it is good to hear you coming out of your shell a bit more, Haim-chan. He then told her, smiling at the shy girl. Course at this point all the attention she was getting was making the poor girl blush in embarrassment, which only got darker when Naruto hugged her close. Okay boss, enough flirting, the food is done, so let's eat. Konohamaru called out before grabbing some of the food that was on the grill, an action that the rest of his team soon copied. Damn brat, Naruto mumbled, lightly blushing due to being embarrassed for calling his actions flirting, but soon let it go and grabbed some food himself, and with that everyone began to eat and continue having a good time. Throughout the party the group all enjoyed themselves and had plenty of their own fun, both talking and messing around with their normal groups. Hey Asuma-sensei, this is your chance. She is right next to you, make a move. Ino whispered to her teacher, who quickly gained a blush and glanced at the beauty next to him. Why did I have to slip up and make the only girl on my team interested in my love life? Now she will take any chance she gets to try and make her show more interesting. Asuma mentally complained to himself, but still talked with the woman beside him just to keep Ino from pestering him as much during the meal. Hey, so Ino is trying to be a matchmaker, huh? Enko thought with a smile after overhearing her whisper due to sitting close enough to her. Though Kurenai has always had a small crush on the smoker anyways, so might as well let her have some fun trying to get the idiot to make a move faster, though he is lucky she hasn't tried getting Naruto to help her, then he would be in trouble of much sneakier methods. Enko thought, mentally laughing at the man's predicament before leaning on Iruka's shoulder a bit and remembered what her blonde friend did for them. The party lasted for quite a while, but eventually it had to come to an end with everyone going their separate ways to try and make the most of the rest of the day. Though for Naruto this was one of the more embarrassing parts, seeing as before Jiraiya left with Tsunade to talk about something, he handed Naruto a scroll with a large smile on his face. Congrats brat. Now as a reward for showing just how good of a trainer I am, have something that I am sure you will need later on with the training you are going to want to do with your lovely ladies. The perverted man told Naruto while handing it to him with a large grin on his face. Course the thought of new training exited the blonde, so he quickly opened the scroll to find several storage seals printed on its paper. So, he quickly pumped some chakra into the first one, curious as to what it was, only to see a familiar orange book. This of course confused him until he realized what his sensei was hinting at and had a deep red blush quickly cover his face. Sadly for him, this made the girls that were with him curious about the gift, so they tried seeing what it was by trying to glance over his shoulder. Noticing this, Naruto quickly resealed the book as fast as he could to try and hide it from the girls and put the scroll before looking over to the Toad Sage. Thank you so much for this, gift. Ero Senin. Naruto told the old man with a clearly forced smile on his face while trying to stop himself from grabbing a weapon to throw at the perverted man. Course Jiraiya ignored these facts and only gave Naruto a thumbs up with the grin still on his face. You are welcome, brat, just make sure you study hard and practice those techniques as much as you can. He told Naruto, then began to giggle perversely until he was slammed to the ground by a strong punch from Tsunade. I am going to just assume that you deserved that. Now come on, pervert, let's talk in the tower. Tsunade told her teammate before quickly saying goodbye to Naruto and the girls before walking away, leaving Jiraiya by himself to recover and make it to her office. Leaving only Naruto and his girlfriends left standing in front of the restaurant. So, Naruto, what did he give you? Ino asked him, still curious. Nothing important, just one of his pranks on me. Naruto told her, taking a moment to decide what to call his gift and hoping that she would leave it at that. Oh, well, can we still see this prank item, Naruto-kun? Ayame asks the younger boy, who quickly regains his blush and started to try and stutter out an answer. You wouldn't understand it. It was just something that only him and me would understand. So, just forget about it, seeing as I really don't want to explain how my sensei is picking on me. Naruto told her, terrified of the reaction he would get if they actually saw what his training manual actually was. Too bad for him. Ino quickly grabbed the scroll before he could realize it, thanks to being distracted by his nightmare. Ino, please give that back. Trust me, you don't want to know what the idiot gave me. Naruto told her, practically begging the girl to not open it. Course this just made her smile mischievously at the blonde. Well, I guess we better look just to make sure, Naru-kun. She told him, then quickly opened the scroll and unsealed one of the books. She then simply stood there for a moment in confusion before finally understanding what Jiraiya meant and began blushing herself. Course at this point the rest of the girls began to try and look over Ino's shoulder, and Naruto slowly backed away from what he thought would be a group of enraged girls soon enough. Though after all the girls saw what he was hiding, the first thing they all did was blush as well. Who would have thought that one of our village's strongest and most respected ninja would be such a pervert as to give his own student porn as a gift and call it training? All the girls except Hinata couldn't help but blush more as they began thinking more about what they could do for that training. Course this made them all blush even darker, but none of their blushes were darker than Hinata's, who even had a small bit of blood beginning to run out of her nose. So Naru-kun has a set as well now. Course this book seems like it is the Ichiya that is supposed to be coming out next month. Maybe Naru can let me borrow it and get my books early on, seeing as he is so close to Jiraiya-sama. Plus, maybe we could act out a few scenes like page 22 of Ichiya Paradise. Hinata began thinking at the same time as the rest of the girls were reacting, though instead of thinking about the implied training she was busy putting herself and Naruto for the scenes she has read. Though soon the rest of the girls regained their focus on the real world while Hinata still daydreamed. Well, Naruto-kun, I really hope you don't become a pervert due to having Jiraiya-sama as your sensei. Ayame told the boy in front of her with a small smile. What? You aren't mad at me for having those books and having my sensei imply us doing that? Naruto asked the girls, gaining a few giggles from most of them. Naruto-kun, why would we be mad at you for something your sensei gave you? It was a prank pulled on you, so there is no reason to worry about us getting mad about your recently developed porn stash. Ayame told the blonde, who still was shocked boy. Besides, who knows, maybe if you are good, we will help you train a new skill. Ayame added and laughed at the full body blush Naruto now sported. Anyways, I need to get back to work so my father doesn't throw a fit. See ya later, Naruto-kun. She added before walking away from the group while purposely swaying her hips a bit more in front of the blushing blonde, who of course had his vision glued to the flirting girl. Damn, I will never understand girls. Naruto couldn't help think as he watched one of his girlfriends walk away after not getting mad at his new books and even hinting at sex. "Oh Naruto, you are so cute when you are embarrassed," Ino told her boyfriend with a big smile as she pinched his cheek. "Though like Ayame I need to head to work as well, though still congrats on ranking up, cutie," Ino added, and then gave him a kiss on the cheek that made the blush that was beginning to fade to return with nearly as much force. Though after that he simply shook his head at the fact he would never fully understand the female mind and began walking home with Haku and Hinata, who just returned back to the real world just before seeing Ino give Naruto the kiss. "I really wish I had the confidence to do bold moves like Ino can. That's it, my new goal is to get rid of my shyness so I can advance further in my relationship," Hinata thought, now determined to change herself to be able to get closer to her blonde. "I am making it so that she betters herself by focusing on Naruto, which she mainly does in the anime. I am mainly doing this so I can give her some times of being able to publicly display her affection without it seeming completely out of character. I wonder what I should do with the rest of the day," Naruto tried to figure out as he walked back to his house. Course there was many options for him to pick from, but he didn't get to think for too long before he felt a gentle pull on his sleeve. When he turned to see what it was, he saw Hinata gently holding on, looking nervous. "Need something, Hinata?" Naruto still asked with a small smile. Naru-kun, do you mind helping me train a bit?" Hinata asked in her normal quiet voice while shyly poking her fingers together. "Sure, let me just stop by my apartment real quick and we all can go train," Naruto told her happily, not even noticing the pleading look Hinata was giving Haku. Though Haku did notice the look and simply sighed. "Actually Naruto-sama, I have cleaning I wish to do at the house. Please have fun training though," Haku told him while giving a small smile at the Hyuga beside her who was silently giving the ice user her thanks. "Okay then. Just don't work too hard, Haku-chan," Naruto told Haku as they reached the door. He then quickly grabbed some supplies and made sure to drop of things such as his gift before heading out with Hinata to train. "Okay, Hinata, you can do this. Just try your hardest to be more confident, there is no one around so you can do this." Hinata mentally prepped herself for her real training as she walked with the unaware blonde. "So, what did you want to work on, Haim-chan?" "Oh, just some of the basics so I can refine them till I feel they are perfect, and maybe some other things," she quickly told him after trying to think of a substitute for saying, "to try and be more confident and show you affection." I guess that makes sense," Naruto mumbled, thinking about his own skills now until they reached a training ground to use. "Okay, so basics, how will we train this?" Naruto mumbled more to himself, trying to figure out how to help Hinata as much as he could. Well, basics for me is my clan cat is Naru-kun, and maybe some weapon practice," Hinata told Naruto, who smiled now that he had an idea. "Perfect, then it will be easy to help you out," Naruto told her with a large smile before creating a large number of clones. "Okay, so they are going to gang up on you while you try to take them out using only your basics. Now to start off they will only act like thugs until you want to up the difficulty by having me make them use more and more abilities," Naruto told the girl, who paled a bit but still nodded her head. "Well, I may not be able to talk to him now that he sent a large mob of like 300 clones, but at least we can talk during breaks, if I last that long," Hinata though as she looked around the large group of her copied boyfriend. "How does he even make this many shadow clones anyways? Isn't it supposed to take a lot of chakra? I mean, being able to make yourself literally a one-man army is such an overpowered skill," Hinata mentally complained, but still got in her stance and signaled for the clones to begin, and her spar began. Meanwhile Naruto was a ways away trying to go over all the basics he has as well, trying to improve them somehow as well. Which of course means that he yet again created a mob of clones to fight. Which ended being what both of the two teens did for this training session, much to Hinata's disappointment. Chapter 26. Come on Hinata, you nearly beat them all, Naruto called out to the girl, trying to motivate her as she faced off against the last 20 of her clone enemies. Course by now she was soaked in sweat and panting heavily as she watched her opponents for their next attack. For while Naruto was kind and wanted to protect his precious people, he also understood that the better they were the safer they would be, so he was trying to make sure the fight was as real as possible. This is crazy. All I wanted to do was have some alone time with my Naru-kun, and here I am barely standing while fighting his clone army. Though now I see why his jutsu is so heavily guarded in that scroll, its power is way too much for anyone. After all, with someone with a lot of chakra like Naruto they literally become one-man armies. Hinata couldn't help but think as she dogged attacks as much as she could while being slowed down by fatigue. For by now even though she was sore and completely exhausted she was determined to beat all of the clones. It also helps that after that she would be able to take a break and finally get the talk she wanted to have. Plus 40 minutes later plus. Huh, Hinata screamed out as she landed a hit finally against the last clone while now feeling her vision get blurry every now and then. I did it. Hinata mumbled out now not even caring that she is even less Hyuga than she normally did. Way to go Hinata. Naruto happily called out to the tired girl while running up to talk to her. Course by the time he got there Hinata's balance failed her and she fell over, though thankfully Naruto managed to catch her before she hit the ground. Hinata, are you okay? Naruto asked the unconscious girl before finally sensing her chakra and noticing just how low it currently was. Oh, Hinata, why did you let me and my clones push you that hard if you were already way too tired? Well, at least you only have a mild case of chakra exhaustion. So for now just enjoy your well-earned rest. Naruto thought as he moved Hinata so she was comfortably laying on his lap while he leaned against a tree. He also was running his hand through her hair as he looked down at her. Damn it though, why didn't I notice you needed a break sooner? I am a chunin now so I need to make sure I keep my teammates safe. I need to work on sensing things even while I practice other things. Naruto thought, annoyed with himself, but still didn't move from where he was sitting. A position he quickly got comfortable and simply tried to enjoy the day as he waited for Hinata to wake up no matter how long it took. Plus a while later plus. When Hinata finally began to wake up the first thing she could feel was just how tired her body still felt. For while she felt a bit better that before she still would have to rest for longer to get her chakra levels back to normal. Due to this she couldn't help but want to stay where she was, seeing as the warmth and comfort of her pillow was drawing her back to sleep. Sadly for the tired girl her curiosity got the best of her and she opened her eyes to figure out what happened after she passed out. Though all thoughts were lost from the girl after she focused her vision again, and was treated to seeing Naruto looking peacefully up at the clouds with the sun shining down on him. To her this was the perfect view that left her memorized as she simply stared at the blonde that had a small smile on his face. Though soon enough he turned and faced her. Oh good, you finally woke up. Naruto told her with a small smile at her before frowning. Sorry for pushing you too hard. He then mumbled out. Naru-kun, don't be upset, I am the one that asked for your help. Hinata told her upset boyfriend. Yes, to help but not to push you past your limits. But that is how people can get better. After all, how will I get to know if I am doing better if I am not pushed to do my very best? Plus, pushing the limits is a good way for many things to get better. Hinata told Naruto, now blushing heavily due to trying to force herself and the conversation into what she wanted to happen in the first place. What do you mean? Naruto simply responded, looking down at Hinata confused. Okay Hinata, you can do this. You managed to salvage the conversation and get this far, now just do it. Hinata mentally ordered herself before using all the nerves she had in her to bring her head up and begin to kiss Naruto as passionately as she could, shocking the blonde. Though she pulled away before his brain could fully get past being surprised. Like how it is about time we push our relationship to the next level. Hinata quickly stuttered out while mentally praising herself mentally for staying conscious. Course by this point Naruto finally was able to catch up to what was going on and simply looked at the girl in front of him. She wants to push our relationship further. What does she mean by that? Gotten that kiss, wow. Oh, I will try and figure out how to give my Hyme the next level she wants, but for now I am just gonna enjoy this. Naruto thought, trying to figure out how to please Hinata. After all, even though his skills have changed greatly, the fact that the village kept him from experiencing many things and learning many things made it hard for him to fully figure out what to do. After all, this was these girls were the first ones to ever return his affections and become his girlfriends. Still he pushed that all aside and simply went with his instincts and kissed Hinata again to feel the amazing sparks travel throughout his body. An action that made said girl completely shocked. Oh my god, he actually is kissing me again. Let's see where this goes, and hopefully it goes to what happened on page 65. Hinata began thinking, getting lost into her lustful thoughts while unconsciously doing what she was thinking about. For she soon surprised Naruto by sticking her tongue out into his mouth to lick his teeth, an action that startled him so much he opened his mouth to gasp in shock, but she quickly darted in and began to French kiss Naruto. A kiss that said blonde was slowly realizing he was enjoying and began trying to copy Hinata's actions. This led him to instinctively move Hinata so that she was now sitting in his lap while he held her close. Though he wasn't the only one to get into it, seeing as Hinata happily helped herself get into a better position as well and then began to move her hands around Naruto's body, feeling all the muscles he has hidden underneath his clothes. Both of the two teens were now fully lost to their passionate moment that was quickly escalating into something more as they pretty much ignored the rest of the world around them. Though this all changed when they heard someone scream out, "Youth," extremely loudly, shocking them both out of their moment. Due to this, they quickly were able to realize the position they managed to get into and began to blush heavily. For at the current moment Hinata was still in Naruto's lap with her hands currently under his shirt and firmly placed on his abs. Meanwhile Naruto had his hands firmly placed around her lower back, pushing her close enough to him that he could feel her breasts against his chest. I am sorry Haim, I don't know what came over me," Naruto mumbled out to her while beginning to let go of her. Though at this moment Hinata gathered her willpower and quickly grabbed onto his hands to keep them there. No, Naru-kun, I enjoyed it just as much as you. In fact, see, can we kiss L like that again?" Hinata asked now with her blush completely covering her face. For while she felt embarrassed to ask, her desire gave her the strength to be much bolder than she would ever normally be able to be. Course, when she finally looked back to Naruto, she was happy to see that he was bushing just as much as her. Sure, Haim-chan, he stumbled out, desiring the feeling of being loved so much, just as much or even more than she was. Course, with this answer he slowly leaned in to kiss her again, only to see something that made him stop behind her. For coming closer to them was the cause of the yell, which was Lee from Team 9. Why did you stop, Naru?" Hinata asked, slightly disappointed. "Haim, Team 9 is coming. We need to move before we have to answer a lot of awkward questions. Not to mention that your cousin, who is still probably mad at me for beating him, is coming and will more than likely stop us and tell your father," Naruto told him, now nervous. Though Hinata pouted at this. "Darn you for messing with my Naru time. I worked so hard to get through my nerves only to get stopped right when we were so close to the next big level. Why does this keep happening to me?" Hinata mentally complained. For after reading all about what couples do, she has wanted to try it for ages. Hinata, they are getting closer, can we please leave before they get here?" Naruto asked, watching as the group came closer to them. Though all he got was Hinata looking at him with her pout still on her face. "Fine, we can stop this for now, but we don't need to leave. After all, we were training and just are taking a break," Hinata told him, and then quickly moved so she was now just leaning on him and quickly checked to see that she looked presentable before simply watching the other group coming closer. Meanwhile Naruto just stayed where he was, shocked by how stubborn and clingy Hinata was being. Course he didn't think about it for too long, seeing as Lee finally spotted the and happily ran over to them. "Yosh, hello Naruto-kun and Hinata-chan. How are you two doing in this youthful day?" he asked them happily. "Hello Lee-san. And today was good, seeing as we just finished training. Too bad we got to a point where we couldn't continue any farther today," she told him while glaring at the strange boy and his team that now was next to them as well. "Hey Lee, guys," was all Naruto told the green-clad ninja with a small smile. "Hey Naruto. You two getting in some hard training, in?" Tenten asked, smirking while clearly implying something else. "We would be training if we didn't have a surprise interrupt us," Hinata responded for him while now glaring even more at Tenten, who looked shocked at her answer. "Oh, I'm sorry," Tenten told Hinata awkwardly while trying to look anywhere but at the glaring girl. "I was kidding about that, but wow, they work fast, and judging by this reaction, she is the one who wants it the most. I guess it really is the quiet ones that you need to worry about," Tenten thought as she tried to avoid looking at said girl's glare. A plan that ended up making her look at Neji instead. I wonder. Yosh, enough talking with Naruto-kun and Hinata-chan, it is time to train. Now come my team, we must train to keep our youthfulness flowing," Guy told his team while running to the center of the clearing with Lee chasing after him. Meanwhile his teammates just sighed and followed them at a much slower pace. I think it is about time for us to leave. Naruto told Hinata, who was still glaring. His answer was a quick, fine, while pouting about having to more from her comfortable position. Though this pout just made Naruto chuckle a bit and playfully rub her head, making her glare at him a bit. A random street of Konoha. So, what do you want to do now, Haim-chan? Naruto asked the girl while walking down the road. Well, I know I want to go get cleaned up a bit after that hard workout, so for now how about I show you around the clan compound for a bit. Besides, my sister has been wanting to meet you for a while anyways. Why would she want to see me? I don't know. All I know is that she has been trying to get some information on you for a bit. Hinata told him while shrugging her shoulders. Well, let's go see the little one, shall we? Naruto asked teasingly with a smile on his face. Sounds good. Just don't let her hear that, after all she is only a few years younger than me. And with that being said, they both walked leisurely to the Hyuga compound, where the guards quickly let them in after a few words from Hinata, where they then entered the building and simply stood in the main hallway where Naruto was looking around at every little thing, curious about where his girlfriend lived. Well, what do you think of the Hyuga compound, Naru-kun? Hinata asked, seeing as for the past few minutes Naruto was wandering around looking at everything in the room with interest clear in his eyes. It is nice, but man, I don't even want to know how much you guys spent on some of this stuff. Naruto told her while looking at a painting that looked like it would cost much more than even what an S-rank mission would give you. Course, this just made Hinata sigh. Yes, the elders do tend to splurge on knickknacks around the house. After all, according to them, the most prestigious clan needs the best things money can buy. Hinata told him, remembering the time she once looked around her father's desk when she was younger and found out just how much the elders spend on stuff to just sit around their compound. A show of power she never really understood to begin with, seeing as they rarely had anyone inside of their home that wasn't a Hyuga anyways. Anyways, feel free to take a seat for a bit. I am just going to take a quick shower, then I will show you around. Hinata told him, getting a nod in return from the blonde, who was still looking around, and then left the room. Few minutes later. After finishing looking around at the stuff in the room, Naruto finally sat down on a nearby couch and simply began thinking about random things while waiting for Hinata to come back into the room. In fact, he got so focused on thinking about things that he completely didn't notice that someone walked up to him and was now standing close to him. Excuse me, what are you doing here? Naruto suddenly heard in a feminine tone that clearly was annoyed with something. This was enough to bring him out of his daydreams and notice things in the real world again, and what he noticed was a smaller girl that looked to be a few years younger than him. She had long black hair that looked to reach most of the way down her back, with a strand dangling in front of her face. She also had the classic Hyuga white eyes, but they seemed to have a slight hint of lilac in them as well. This girl was also currently wearing an elegant light blue kimono that had several lilacs depicted randomly around the cloth. Overall, she looked to be rather cute, even though she seemed to be just beginning to mature. Oh hello. Naruto began, only to realize he had no clue who she was. Hyuga Hanabi, Hanabi told him, still clearly annoyed. For to her it looked like a random commoner somehow managed to enter their home and dared treat it like he lived there. Ah hello Hanabi, I am just waiting for your sister to freshen up before we go do something else. Naruto told her with a big smile at the now shocked girl. So this is the boy that my sister is in love with. I have to say that he at least is decently pleasing to the eyes. Though why would simple words from this guy make her push herself so far? After all, besides slightly above average looks, there doesn't seem to be anything special about him. Well, I suppose he is a clan heir as well, but still there surely has to be people much better than him. Hanabi thought to herself, judging Naruto just off of his appearance alone. I see. Well, I am sure that she won't take long, though while you wait I am sure you wouldn't mind answering a few questions I have. Hanabi told him, making it clear that she wanted the questions answered whether he wanted to or not. Sure Hanabi-chan, what do you want to know? Naruto told her with a smile, not noticing her narrow her eyes a bit at being called Chan when she just met him. Well Naruto-san, to begin with, why exactly are you with my sister? Hey, well first just call me Naruto, and as for why I am with Hinata, well I guess that would be because she really is one of the first people to show me what it is like to feel loved. Naruto answered with a shrug. Note at this point, when I say love I mean the feeling of a strong friendship that bonds people together. Such as best friends becoming so close that they are siblings in everything but blood. First, to show you the feeling of love. What do you mean by that? Well, as you know, for years I was only an orphan that most of the village treated like crap until it became clear who my family is. Still, before that happened, most kids even wouldn't want to have anything to do with me. Though there was one cute little girl that always tried to be friendly with me and even help me out every now and then. I mean, we didn't see each other often due to her being often too shy come close to me, and also simply due to her being busy with clan things. Still, she was one of the few people that made my childhood worth going through. Naruto told her seriously, remembering how before he gave up on crying, he used to cry about how no one wanted to be around him until he saw a shy Hinata come up to him. Those few moments they shared, although brief, meant the world to him. Now of course Hanabi was surprised by this answer, seeing as while she knew about how Naruto was originally treated, she didn't know her sister had that much of an effect on him. Oh really? Well then why did you wait so long before asking her out then? After all, I know for a fact that she loved you for years. Hanabi asked, while mentally adding, for some reason. Well, Hanabi, for starters, I had no clue she liked me. Also, while I did end up liking her, I never even tried anything, for two reasons. One, because she is higher class and us dating would have just led to her having conflicts in her family which would cause unwanted stress there. Two, I know you at least saw some of how I was treated as a child. I didn't want to have even a chance of dragging her into something like that. So, for a while I simply tried being the best friend I could. I am just happy that in the end we somehow managed to be together. Naruto told her with a small smile on his face. Oh, so you are happy to have added another member to your harem? Hanabi asked, disgusted with the CRA, even though she understood why it was needed. Course, what she didn't expect was for Naruto to glare at her and spike his ki at her enough to make her sweat a bit. Never say I would take advantage of any girl through this CRA thing. While I understand why you don't like it, I didn't ask for it either. Plus, any girl I date and marry because of this won't just be out of lust or duty to the village, it will be out of love. I don't care if everyone hates me for it, but I refuse to push someone into a loveless marriage. Naruto told her seriously, shocking Hanabi yet again. Though before they could talk anymore, they heard someone rushing towards them and soon saw Hinata back in the room. Though currently she was dripping wet, with a towel being the only thing covering her body, and even then, it was giving a tantalizing view to Naruto, who quickly had a nosebleed. What is going on here? She asked quickly, hoping there is no trouble with Naruto being in the clan compound. So nervous in fact that she didn't even take into consideration that the guards had to have already looked into it and deemed it fine. We are simply having a talk here, Nei-chan, though should you really be running around in your current state of dress? Hanabi told her sister, who at first was confused before looking down and noticing that she only had a towel on, causing her to let out a loud eep of embarrassment before rushing back to continue to get herself presentable. Though she was pretty happy to know that she could get a reaction out of Naruto, but in front of her sister was not the time to enjoy that fact. While she watched her sister run back to the bathroom, she couldn't help but let a small smile onto her face at her sister's antics before looking back to the blonde, who was still trying to clean up after his nosebleed. At first you don't look all that special, but you do have some surprising qualities that make you so much more interesting. I will have to keep my eye on you and maybe learn some more about what makes you such a strange guy. Hanabi thought, already even more interested in just how different Naruto is compared to everyone else she knew. A trait that made her want to figure out more about the blonde. Chapter 27. After Hinata got over her embarrassment and came back to Naruto, they managed to enjoy the rest of the day, even with Naruto looking at her with a blush on his face every now and then, remembering the scene. Course, much to the disappointment of Hinata, she couldn't try and build up the confidence to repeat what happened after their training, seeing as Hanabi for some reason decided to come with them and Naruto didn't see a problem with it. So, of course, while she still enjoyed her time with Naruto, she was still a bit annoyed with her sister, even as she watched him walk back home in the end. I know this is a bad transition from last chapter, but I am sure you all don't want me to ramble on with another chapter of just Naruto. Plus next morning, Naruto plus. After enjoying yesterday as much as he could and spending a good bit of time with Hinata, Naruto was still in a real good mood. So, instead of forcing himself to eat a normal breakfast, he decided to treat himself with the food of the gods made by the best chef he knew, And with that in mind he quickly got ready for the day and ran to his favorite ramen shop. "Hey Oji-san, 6 miso ramens." Naruto called out happily to Taki, who was just setting up his shop for the day. "Oh Naruto, you are here early, aren't you?" Taki asked the blonde with a smile while now beginning to prep his food. For seeing as he has known the blonde, Taki pretty much knew a basic of his best customers' ramen schedule. "Yay, but I just couldn't wait. After such a great day yesterday, today needs to start just as good," Naruto told him with a large smile on his face. A smile that only increased when he saw Ayame coming over to them. "Good morning Ayame-chan," Naruto added just as happy. "Hello Naruto-kun, how is my favorite chunin doing?" Ayame asked with a small smile and a small giggle after seeing Naruto puff up his chest a bit, clearly proud to now be a chunin. "Very good, and how is my ramen angel doing?" Naruto asked her, trying to make a loving nickname for each one of his girls, though failed to notice the sweat drop form on Ayame's head. "I know that he loves giving people nicknames, but could he do better on mine? I mean, he calls Hinata Hyme now and all I get is to be named for his food. Though I suppose it just lets me know that even though my favorite blonde, while changed, is still very much his old self." Ayame thought, but still was a bit annoyed with him. Naruto-kun, how about calling me something else?" she asked, hoping that he would listen. "Huh, why wouldn't you want to be known as one of the helpers of the godly food?" Naruto asked, causing Ayame to just shake her head at how far his ramen addiction is ingrained into his head. "Yes, Naruto, while ramen is good, but I would rather be called something else. After all, I can give you a lot more than ramen," Ayame told the blonde suggestively while giving him a quick kiss over the counter. Course this managed to make Naruto blush, even though he didn't fully understand what she meant. For her words made him remember his make-out time with Hinata and how great it felt for him. Course due to this he now placed Ayame in the same place, while sharing some ramen, making the boy drool a bit while keeping his blush. This made Ayame laugh a bit at how he looked, but made Taki glare a bit, seeing as while he knew about their relationship, he still wanted to protect his daughter from men. "Now Naruto, you wouldn't be dating my daughter only for her services now, would you?" he asked, glaring at the blonde, thinking the drool was for something much more perverted than what it actually was, which also was making him push out some ki subconsciously as well. "No Oji-san, I wouldn't ever think of treating my Tenshi-chan like that," Naruto told him, now terrified of the large amount of ki in the air coming from the old man holding his ladle like some sort of weapon. Who knew Oji-san could be so terrifying? Naruto couldn't help but think, even though in reality he could easily beat the chef in an actual fight. In fact, he was so focused on this that he didn't even notice the blush on Ayame's face. "Now that is a nickname I can get used to being called," Ayame thinks happily while pretty much ignoring the fact that her father looked about ready to kill her boyfriend thanks to her perverse comment. Thankfully though, Naruto's words calmed the cook down, seeing as Taki knew that Naruto would never lie about something relate to those close to him. Still, the stand was a strange sight to anyone who would come in, seeing as they would see a blushing girl, a terrified boy sitting down looking carefully at an older man that was now happily cooking the order. Thankfully for Naruto though, he was broke from his fear after his first bowl of godly breakfast was placed in front of him. "Itadakimasu," Naruto quickly mumbled out before grabbing a pair of chopsticks to break apart and start eating. He then went through several bowls while simply chatting with Ayame. A peaceful time that was possible thanks to Naruto being the only person who they knew to ever eat ramen so early in the day. "And that is why I need to keep training. I need to get a better control of my chakra and get stronger," Naruto finished telling Ayame. "Wow Naruto-kun, I never knew that you ninja trained so much. I only do a bit of martial arts for exercise," Ayame told the now surprised blonde. "What? You actually know how to fight?" Naruto asked, shocked. "Hey, just because I am not a ninja doesn't mean I don't want to protect myself," Ayame told him, offended. "No, I mean, wow, I never would have expected the kind and pretty girl that helped me through my childhood actually knew how to kick some ass. You have to show me what you got," Naruto told her happily, making said girl blush before hearing the last part. "What? You gotta show me how much you know. Now come on, let's head to a training ground," Naruto told her. But I don't think I would stand any chance against a ninja, and I have to go with Naruto and have some fun," Taki told his daughter, interrupting her. "See, Oji-san is letting ya take a break, so let's go," Naruto told her. Oh fine if you both insist. Just give me a few minutes to change and we will go. She told him with a sigh, hoping that Naruto didn't expect her to be able to fight like other ninjas. After all, when she saw them fighting in the arena, she knew that even against genin she wouldn't stand a chance. Still, she left to get changed from her work clothes into something more proper for exercising. Oh, and Naruto, make sure you take proper care of my girl, and no funny business. Taki told Naruto after she left, scaring Naruto again as he went into what Naruto would later call his angry dad mode. Of course Oji-san, I promise to take care of Ayame-chan and protect her from harm. Naruto told him, now able to ignore a bit of his fear through determination. Thankfully though, Ayame came back rather fast, now wearing a red t-shirt and black pants that hugged her curves quite well. Okay Naruto, let's go get this over with. Ayame told her boyfriend, still nervous about actually fighting with Naruto. Sure Tenchi-chan, let's head out. Though I do have to say you look nice in your workout clothes. Naruto told the girl as she walked out from the back of the stand, causing her to blush. Thanks Naruto-kun, but this is just something simple I wear when dad gives me a break or a day off. She tells him, not thinking she was wearing anything special. Well, it still looks good on you. Plus, it is the first time I have seen you in something that isn't your work clothes. Naruto told her honestly, causing her to smile at the blonde. Thanks Naruto-kun, she told him and gave him a quick kiss on the cheek. This is one of the reasons I love my childish blonde. He clearly doesn't even mean to be flirting but still manages to make a girl feel happy and special. Ayame thought to herself happily as she followed Naruto to a training ground. Though her mind wasn't just on this one time but all the times throughout the years she knew him, that he would make her smile through his compliments. For, while she got them from a lot of other people, most of the time when she heard it from guys it was just them trying to flirt with her. A problem that made her go through several failed dates with other men who she thought wanted something special but really just wanted her body. A problem that eventually led her to getting a crush on Naruto, seeing as he would compliment her just like the rest of the boys but never once tried to push for anything but a friendship with her. Well, what do you think? Naruto asked her, bringing her out of her thoughts and making her realize they were at a forest clearing. A clearing that had a small stream going through the middle of the clearing. This is nice. Are all of Konoha's training grounds this nice? She asked, enjoying the gentle wind that gave some coolness to offset the warm day. Well, no, a lot of the training grounds are a lot more basic and some are pretty destroyed. Though this is one of the few that are designated for light training only. After all, it is so close to the village that it needs to be kept nice so that people can see the beauty that is the village. Naruto told her honestly, remembering the times he practiced a few of his more destructive moves in stone-filled area that already had clear burns and damage to the stones around him. Anyways, let's see what you got. Naruto told her before getting into a light fighting stance out in the clearing. Sigh. Yeah, let's see how this goes. Ayame mumbled out, still nervous about fighting an actual ninja, seeing as she knew that she could easily get hurt. Though much to her surprise, when she was ready, Naruto ran at her at a speed that she knew was nowhere near his best. Course, this surprised her enough that she forgot to try and block his punch and ended up getting hit in the stomach, which much to her surprise only stung a little bit. What is going on? I figured Naruto would be a lot stronger than this. Wait, he actually knows how to control himself this much. Wow. I actually feel bad, seeing as I always thought he didn't know how to control himself, seeing as all the ninja who ate at the store said he was a loose cannon and other things. Now I feel bad for assuming stuff. Ayame thought with a frown, realizing that she thought so little about her boyfriend but promised herself to never do it again. Sadly, this lapse of focus ending up making her receive a kick to the chest that actually knocked her off her feet and onto the ground. Are you okay, Ayame-chan? I promise I didn't mean to hit you that hard. Naruto told her, now worried about her health, until she shook her head and got up. No Naruto-kun, I just got too lost in thought and didn't pay attention. You actually are doing good, still thanks for worrying about me. She told him with a small smile before getting back in her stance. Now let's continue so I can show you what I really got. She added, now determined to show she actually was decent at martial arts. Plus hour later. Ayame was now panting due to fighting for the better part of an hour, while Naruto barely looked to have broken a sweat. She was right now a bit sore, seeing as while Naruto wasn't actually trying to hurt her, he still managed to leave a few bruises on her. Still she felt pretty good seeing as while fighting Naruto she actually was able to block some of his attacks and even get a few hits on him as well. Course she couldn't help but realize just how much stronger a ninja was compared to the average civilian. This didn't stop her from prepping her defense for another attack that to her surprise never came. Okay, Tenshi-chan, how about we call it here? After all, I don't want you to get too tired this early in the day. He told her with a smile. Besides, just from this I can tell that you really are a great fighter. You must have put a lot of effort into learning, seeing as I bet you could easily beat a few thugs if you ever needed to. Naruto told her honestly. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but thanks for the compliment, Naruto-kun. Ayame told him with a smile and sat down trying to catch her breath now that she knew that they were done fighting. Naruto then took out a towel from a seal to hand to Ayame, who thanked him and wiped the sweat off of herself while they both simply enjoyed the nice day for a few minutes. So, how about we go get some drinks? Naruto asked after Ayame stopped panting. Sure, anywhere in particular? Nope, I just figure you probably want something to drink after working so hard. Oh, thanks for looking out for me, Naru-chan. Ayame told him and gave him a quick kiss on the lips, then smiled. And I think I know the perfect spot, she added, now dragging him back to the village with the smile never leaving her face, seeing as she now knew that Naruto truly cared for her unlike the other people she dated. Leaf Cafe note random name due to not wanting to say random restaurant. Ayame eventually led Naruto to a small restaurant about a block away from the Ichiraku stand. It was a plain-looking building, but it had large windows that let in a lot of natural light and had several tables spread apart enough to give people plenty of space for private conversations. The place itself had light green walls and, surprisingly enough, even a few small waterfall decorations placed into each corner of the building to give the peaceful sound of running water. Finally, to add to the peaceful natural feel of the restaurant, there were plants ranging from flowers in pots to bonsai trees on each table. Wow, this place is nice, Naruto told her, shocked that he never knew such a place as in Konoha. Yeah, one of my friend's family set this up about 2 years ago to give both ninja and civilians a place to truly relax. An idea that has made them quite successful, in fact. Ayame told him happily, seeing as this was also one of her favorite spots to go, seeing as her friends would regularly gather here and simply chat. Ayame-chan. They suddenly heard someone call out from across the relatively busy restaurant and then saw a girl run up to them and eventually give Ayame a hug. Oh, what a surprise, I mean we haven't seen each other in weeks. The girl told Ayame, seeing as her and her friends were all super busy dealing with things after the attack on the village. For they, like many civilians, had to work on fixing problems the battles caused, such as crushed stones, slash marks, and in some cases even complete destruction. Though luckily for all of them they managed to not get too much damage, but still had to work through paperwork and many other things. Which made it so that they really couldn't take too much time off from their family's businesses. Course Naruto didn't know this and simply was surprised by the sudden reaction of the girl that he now could take a look at. She was about 5 feet 3 inches with a lean figure that was covered in a simple light purple kimono that seemed to be a uniform, seeing as the other workers had simple kimonos on as well. She also had what looked to be B-sized breast and a decent hourglass figure that made her look to be around 16 or 17. Also, she had a cute face with warm brown eyes and light makeup on that accented her facial structure nicely. Her hair was pitch black and went halfway down her back, tied into a simple ponytail that held back her hair from falling into her face. Overall, she looked rather pretty and seemed to be quite friendly, if her reaction to seeing Ayame was her normal personality. Yes, it is good to see you, Satomi-chan. How are you doing? Ayame asked her friend happily after the hug ended. Pretty good, I mean really all we had to deal with was our windows breaking, but sadly we had several bodies in here as well. It was so disgusting and it gave me nightmares remembering them for weeks. Luckily though a few of the ninja took them away rather quickly after we were given the all clear, but still I can't believe there was fighting going on in our restaurant, which reminds me that I still need to try and push Ma to go for some new flooring. Satomi told her friend before noticing Naruto was standing there as well. Oh, and who is this blondie? She asked, now looking over Naruto. This is Naruto, Ayame told her friend, which caused the girl's eyes to widen. Oh, this is that Naruto. Well, I do have to say, even though he is a pervert for having a harem, I can see why you fell for those looks, she said with a small shrug. Hey, I am not a pervert. Naruto told her angrily, seeing as that was one of the things he was proud of, seeing as he managed to keep his innocence, even while having two, technically three perverted teachers. Basically making him think the fact that he isn't a creepy pervert himself to be a good accomplishment in itself. And how are you not a pervert, Mr. Harem? Satomi asked him. I didn't ask for the harem, it was the council, and they all agreed to be with me even with it. I would never force a girl to be in it if she didn't want to be. Naruto told her firmly. I take it back, he really is a great catch if he is being honest, though I still think you are a bit crazy for accepting to be in a harem. She told her friend simply. Anyways, can we get a seat please, Satomi? Ayame asked, forcing the conversation away from her relationship. Oh, sure, right away. Satomi quickly told her friend before taking them to a table by the window and quickly taking their orders for some green tea and some simple snacks for a light lunch. This led them to having a nice lunch date with them talking about random things and even having some interesting conversations with Satomi when she came over to them every now and then. Overall making their whole unofficial date quite pleasant, with Naruto learning quite a bit about his one older girlfriend. They then paid for their meal and Naruto brought Ayame back to Ichiraku holding hands the whole way. Thanks for the date, Naruto-kun. Even though I never would have thought I would have such a strange date, it was still surprisingly enjoyable. I'm told him honestly. Hee thanks for making today start off amazingly. Also, it is good to know that you can really kick some ass. Naruto told her, unintentionally ruining the romantic moment they were having. Well, Naru-kun, you definitely have quite a few rough edges that need to be worked on, but somehow you still make me feel so loved and special. Ayame thought with a smile, surprisingly not annoyed with him still not fully understanding how to be romantic. She then gave him a loving kiss on the lips that he quickly returned. Thanks, Naru-kun. Now I need to get back to work, so see ya later. She told him happily and began to walk into the restaurant, but suddenly turned her head back up to him. Oh, and keep up this loving treatment and I will be sure to give you your reward before you know it. She told him, then winked at the now confused blonde before fully entering Ichiraku. Man, I really need to figure out how to understand girls. Naruto thought after giving up on trying to decipher what to him was a confusing message. Course he didn't get much time to try and figure it out, for soon after Jiraiya found him. Hey Gaki, I need to talk to ya. How about I treat you to some ramen? Jiraiya asks, knowing that ramen would be the best way to keep Naruto listening to him. Okay. Naruto told him happily, for while he already ate a light lunch, he would always have room for ramen. So, they both entered the restaurant much to the surprise of Ayame. Hey lovely, how about 2 beef ramens? Jiraiya ordered while trying to flirt, only to see Ayame give him a disgusted look while a large amount of ki filled the room. Oi Eros Senin, leave my girlfriend alone. She wants nothing to do with a pervert like you. Naruto ordered the old man, trying to focus his ki onto him as much as possible. Okay kid, calm down, I was only joking, just get used to beef ramen please. Jiraiya tells Ayame, who quickly walks away from them while Naruto stops leaking out his ki. So, I was right, the Gaki really does care a lot for these girls. I mean, he treats me as a close friend and he immediately was ready to attack me for messing with one of them. I really would hate to see what he does if someone actually tries to do something to them, especially after I am done training him. Jiraiya thinks mentally, noting that he needs to work on Naruto's emotional control some more so he doesn't kill someone affiliated with Konoha just because they tried to flirt with one of his girls in front of him. Well, he already did, but that was a drunk fool that didn't know when to stop. Dumbasses like that don't count. So, what did you want to talk about? Naruto asked, now calmer. Well Gaki, I was talking to Tsunade about something and she agreed with my decision, so tell me, what do you remember about how strong Orochimaru is? Jiraiya asks, deciding to give his explanation before he gave Naruto the information that would make him annoyed. He is way too strong. Right now if I fought him, I would probably lose even with my new skills and special problem. Naruto admitted, slightly depressed by this fact while slowly eating the ramen that Ayame placed in front of him. Yes, right now you don't have a chance against S-ranked threats, but I could help you get to a point where you could win against them. Jiraiya tells him seriously and watches as Naruto looks at him with his eyes wide. Really, you would help me get to be stronger than that? Naruto asked, surprised. Yes, in fact Tsunade and me agree to have you trained to be at least low S rank due to the Akatsuki hunting you down. Jiraiya told Naruto, making him clearly more confused. Who are they and why would they be hunting me down? Naruto asked, now so surprised that he even manages to ignore the ramen in front of him. Well, the Akatsuki is a group of several S-ranked missing ninja from various villages that have grouped together to go after people like you. Jiraiya told him sadly after making sure no one was in hearing range of them. What they are after the Kyuubi? Naruto asked, only to get a nod in return. What can I do? I mean, while I am strong, even I am not dumb enough to think I am good enough to take out a S-ranked ninja group. Naruto asked, feeling a bit afraid. Well, Gaki, you are going to come train with me for 3 years so that we can get you strong enough to have a chance against them. For while you are with me they will be less likely to attack due to my reputation, but me or Tsunade can't keep you by us for the rest of your life. Jiraiya explained. Okay, then I will train and make sure I can beat them down. Naruto told him with determination in his eyes. For he now had precious people to live for and would not let them down. The only thing is I have to also keep my spy network working, Gaki, so for all 3 of these years we will be out of the village. Jiraiya finally told the blonde sadly. So I wouldn't be able to see Hinata, Haku, Ino, Ayame, or any of my other friends for years. Naruto asks, realizing what Jiraiya meant. Okay, let's do it, Naruto eventually told Jiraiya after seemingly looking down at nothing for a minute. What? Jiraiya stumbles out, surprised Naruto agreed to this part so easily. I am not stupid, Jiraiya, we are ninja and fight dirty. If I stayed here and didn't take care of this they would probably hurt my precious people to get me. I need to make sure I am strong enough to protect them as well from these bastards. But I have one condition. Naruto told Jiraiya seriously, the girls don't learn about my trouble. I don't want them to worry about me. He added to a surprised Jiraiya. Okay, Gaki, I will make sure they don't, and we leave the day after tomorrow. Jiraiya tells him, then quickly finishes his ramen and leaves after handing Naruto some money. Man, this Gaki really is more like Minato than I thought. After all, while he acts as childish as Kushina, he really does have his father's way of thinking as well. Just now when he acted like a spitting image of Minato being serious, if his skill is just as close to those two as well, he really will become a real powerhouse eventually. Jiraiya thought, now determined to make sure his student's son was given every opportunity to reach his true potential. Naruto_. Oh, Jiraiya-sama left already. Well, what did he want? Ayame asked, curious. He offered to train me, but I will have to leave the village for 3 years. Naruto told her, now thankful Jiraiya made sure she couldn't hear them before dropping his bombshell of news. Oh, well, that is a wonderful opportunity, but 3 years without you. Ayame mumbled out with a frown, clearly unhappy. Though Naruto quickly grabbed her hand and gently rubbed the top of it, making her look back to him. I know, but I promise that I will make it up to you and the others as soon as I come back. I just need to do this, to make sure I can protect you from everything and anything. Naruto told her seriously. Okay. But Naruto, please don't forget about us. Ayame told him after noticing how serious he is. He is hiding something, I know it, but if he is this serious, I won't torture him any more than he already must be feeling. I would never forget you. Naruto told her firmly while gently squeezing her hand and then gave her a loving kiss. Now I need to get ready, I leave in 2 days, I will make sure we all make them count. He told her with a smile, though she could see the sadness in his eyes. Still, she accepted the money for the bowls of ramen and watched as he left. Naruto-kun. Chapter 28. Plus morning, Naruto Haku's apartment plus. Naruto was now up, but now simply looking up to his roof, lost in thought. So, I really leave tomorrow. What am I going to do? I mean, in less than a day now I have to go with the pervert on a training trip which will make me leave all the girls alone for years. I feel terrible for that, but it has to be done. I mean, I can't let myself be around them when I won't be able to protect them from these ninja that are hunting people like me down. But how am I going to let them know? Man, I hope they don't hate me too much for this. Naruto thought before hearing a knock on the door. Naruto-sama, are you awake yet? Breakfast is ready. Haku told him simply before assumingly walking back towards the kitchen. Well, I guess I will just have to figure it out as I go. Naruto mumbled to himself before finally getting out of bed to go eat with Haku. So, he followed the smell and quickly filled his plate with the breakfast she made before sitting down across from her and began to eat in silence. After a quick, "Thank you," to Haku. They then ate their meal in silence, much to the concern of Haku. What is going on with Naruto-sama today? Usually he would want to talk about something, but today he is just looking down at his food, looking lost. Maybe I can help him with something. Haku thought before finally putting down her chopsticks. Naruto-sama, are you feeling okay today? Huh. Oh yeah, I feel fine, Haku-chan. Naruto told her simply, still barely making eye contact with her. You sure? You still seem off today, is there something wrong? Haku asked, still clearly concerned. No, nothing is wrong, Naruto told her while trying to give her a smile but simply couldn't bring himself to look at her. Naru-kun, look at me, she told him in a firm tone that left no room for disobeying. So, Naruto did look up to her, though more out of shock about hearing her saying his name without Sama with it. Look Naruto, I asked around the village a bit and got to know a bit about how you were treated before. I know that treatment makes you think you have no one to go to and have to deal with everything on your own, but you don't anymore. You have Hinata, Ino, Ayame, all your friends, and me to rely on now. So, if something is troubling you, please tell me, maybe I will be able to help you. Please Naruto, just let me try. You aren't alone anymore, Haku told him, staring directly into Naruto's eyes, giving him a caring look that surprised Naruto. These girls, every time I begin to think I have finally figured out what being in a relationship means, they always manage to shock me. Maybe she is right. I guess I will take a chance and trust someone again. Naruto decides quickly before letting out a sigh. You caught me, Yukihime-chan. My problem is that Ero Sennin want me to go on a training trip. The problem is that he wants me to go with him out of the village for 3 years. He told her, then braced himself for whatever reaction she may have to the news. Quote ellipsis dot. Okay, so when do you have to leave? She asked him, simply shocking him. What? Naruto-kun, we are ninja, so while I do want to spend my time with you and not have you go anywhere, we all know it has to happen sometimes. After all, some missions can take a year or more, so we are going to experience stuff like this eventually anyways. Haku told him simply. Course, her explanation just shocked Naruto even more, seeing as while he was trying to figure out what a relationship would be like, he never thought about how their missions would affect them as well. Wow, Yukihime, I never thought about it that way. What would I ever do without you? Naruto asked her, now happy that he knows that the other girls would hopefully be able to understand him easier after using Haku's explanation. Hopefully you never will have to find out, Naruto-sama. She told him, simply making him look at her now a bit annoyed. Back to that now? He asked, seeing as he was hoping that she was finally done calling him Sama. What do you mean, Naruto-sama? You just called Kun instead of Sama. Can't you just keep using Kun? Naruto asked, hoping for her to finally stop calling him master. I have no clue what you mean, Naruto-sama, I would never call you something so familiar. After all, I am only your servant. She told him, completely pretending to forget calling him Kun, which made Naruto slam his head down onto the table, clearly frustrated. Course, this reaction simply made Haku giggle a bit as she failed to hold back her laughter. Anyways, I am going to go tell the others now. But don't worry, I will make sure to make this last day as special as possible. Naruto told her before placing his now empty plate into the sink and then went out the door. Well, I suppose I might as well start with telling Hinata. Naruto mumbled to himself with a small shrug after walking a bit away from his apartment, and then quickly jumped up to the roof of the closest building and speed off towards her. Hyuga clan compound. When Naruto finally made it to the compound, he quickly jumped down in front of the gate guards to let them know he was there. I am here to see Hinata, Naruto simply told them, only to have the two guards look at each other before one of them disappeared using a leaf shunshin. He then reappeared after a while and finally let Naruto walk into the compound, where he then followed Hinata's chakra signature till he finally was right next to her. Hey Naru-kun, why are you here? Hinata asked her boyfriend, curious. It is strange, normally Naruto doesn't do too much at this time of day during the time I gathered information about him. Could it be that he is ready to continue what we had at the training field? I hope so. I want my Naru time, and maybe we can take it further like in Ikea's secret wear. Hinata began to think happily with a blush slowly growing on her face. Hey Haim-chan, I just needed to tell you something. Naruto told her simply. Oh, Hinata mumbled out, darn. For those people that haven't realized, I am using her for a bit of comedic relief by relying on, it's always the quiet ones. So, Haim, I need to tell you that, I have to go on a training trip for 3 years. Naruto told her as quickly as he could, only to have her look at him in confusion. Sigh, Hinata-chan, Ero Senin is taking me on a training trip for 3 years. Naruto told her and prepared for any possible reaction. So you have to go? Hinata asked with a pout. Yay, sadly, but I have to do it. I want to get strong enough to be able to protect you. Besides, to get to be Hokage I am going to have to be stronger anyways. Naruto told her while gently grabbing her hand. I guess, but it is just so long. Hinata muttered out. But I guess if you have to go then I won't stop you. After all, what kind of girlfriend would I be to not let you follow your dream? Hinata told him with a small sad smile. Thank you, Haim-chan, and I promise I will make it up to you when I get back. Naruto told her, now holding her hand with both of his and looking directly into her eyes. Course he still didn't manage to notice the blush that formed on her cheeks when he said that. Okay, was all she could stutter out, still focused on her new daydream. Thank you, Haim, and I can't wait till I get to see how much stronger you girls get as well. Naruto told her, then kissed her gently before beginning to walk away. Wait, when are you leaving? Hinata asked him, causing him to turn around while rubbing the back of his head, clearly embarrassed. Oh, yes, sorry, I almost forgot. I have to leave tomorrow morning. Naruto told her, embarrassed by the fact that he nearly forgot to tell her important information. Oh, well then we will have to make sure that we do something special today then. She told him, completely serious. Yeah, I plan on doing something special with you girls. I just need to tell all of you first and then I will get all of you for something special that I have planned that I am hoping that you all will enjoy. Naruto told her, staying vague, seeing as he still hasn't figured out his plan completely. Okay Naruto, just hurry up please. If this is the last time I see you or a while, then I want to spend as much time with you as I can. She told him before giving him a loving kiss, which surprised him, seeing as she usually is too embarrassed. Now hurry up and go tell the others so I can get my Naru time. She told him, now pushing him towards the door, much to the amusement of Naruto. Still he went with it and allowed himself to be pushed out of the home and began walking through the busy village streets. Okay, so that is 2 down. Now for Ayame-chan and Ino-chan. Naruto mumbles to himself while following the flow of the crowd till he eventually reached the street he needed to be on. Yamenka flower shop. When Naruto finally reached Ino's family shop, he quickly walked up to the building with a small smile on his face. For unlike what he thought would happen so far, telling the girls that he had to leave them alone for a while is going much better. In fact, he thought that by now he would have to deal with at least one of the girls screaming at him. Still he wasn't complaining about it not happening and instead just got himself focused again and opened the door to enter. Only to be ran into by someone. Naruto groaned out from his new spot on the floor, but still looked over to see that the person that ran into him was the very girl he needed to talk to. Ow, oh sorry Naruto-kun. Ino apologized after picking herself off the floor and watching the blonde pick himself up as well. No problem Ino-chan, though why were you in such a rush? Well, Dad just remembered to tell me that we have a big shipment of new supplies that just came in. So, of course he sent me out just before my break, and I really want to simply enjoy a few moments of peace with a mint tea after this crazy morning. Though thanks to this I guess that won't happen, seeing as bringing all this stuff back here will take me way too long. She told him with a pout, only to glare at him when he started laughing. And what do you think you were laughing at? She asked him, clearly ready to go off on Naruto. Hold on Ino-chan, I was just laughing at the fact that our timing couldn't be more perfect. Naruto told her while holding his hands out defensively, trying to calm down the mad girl in front of him. Course this just made Ino become more confused than mad until he summoned a clone. She then looked from him to the clones a few times before a large smile grew on her face and she brought Naruto in for a tight hug in which she seemed to try and put all of her strength into choking the life out of him. Oh, that is perfect. Thank you for saving my relaxation time. I can't tell you how much I need it today. She told him before dragging Naruto with her to pick up the packages, leaving the clone where they were. And they are gone, the lone clone mumbled out with a sweat drop as it watched Naruto be dragged through the market's busy streets until it finally decided to dispel. Post office. After being dragged all the way to the post office, Ino finally stopped to find someone to give her the packages. They were then brought to see 4 large packages, so he quickly created 8 clones to carry the packages while making sure that they were kept safe just in case there were pots or something in them. He then happily walked out of the post office following an equally as happy Ino while the clones grumbled curses at him as they carried the packages behind the 2. So, Naru-kun, why did you come to the flower shop, seeing as I doubt you came just to unknowingly help me? Ino asked, now curious but still ignoring the grumbling clones. He's not even the one doing the work here. One of the clones grumbled out soon after she said this though, and they couldn't help but hear it seeing as he was a bit louder than the rest of the grumbling. Course the only reaction it got was for the real Naruto to grumble out, stupid clones, you're me anyways. Yeah, I sort of have to tell you something, Ino, Naruto told her and then looked over to her seeing that he now had her full attention. Well, Eros Sennin talked to me the other day and wants me to go on a training trip with him. Naruto began only to be interrupted by Ino. Well, you better take it then. Not just everyone gets the offer to be trained by a Sannin. Ino ordered him, thinking that he would be an idiot not to. Well, the thing is that I would have to be gone for 3 years, and have to leave tomorrow. Naruto told her with a frown that was soon copied by his blonde partner. Oh, well that sucks, but you still are an idiot for thinking about missing the opportunity. Ino told him, surprising him for what seemed to be the 1000th time this day. Course this reaction just made Ino smile a bit. Come on Naruto, I am not sure if you realize but we are ninja. Eventually we are going to have to go on long missions. So, we might as well get used to it now. She told him, making him feel stupid yet again. For worrying so much. I really am an idiot, aren't I? Naruto mumbled out, shaking his head, but was soon given a quick kiss by Ino, who was giggling at his reaction. Yes, at times, but you are my idiot. She told him. They then walked calmly back to the flower shop where Naruto had his clones place the boxes in a storage room before dispelling them. They then went together to go enjoy a good calming tea with each other at a nearby cafe. Though eventually he had to leave Ino to let her get back to working for another few hours. Okay, next I have to get my plan ready. Naruto mumbled out, now walking through the market yet again by himself. Course this time he was a lot less stressed and was instead just getting some shopping done to prepare what he hoped would be a good time for his girls. So, he quickly bought his supplies and ran home as fast as he could, seeing as the perfect time was quickly approaching. When he finally made it home, he was pleasantly surprised to see that Haku apparently had something that she needed to do in the hospital or something, seeing as she was currently nowhere around the apartment. Still, he wasn't able to appreciate his luck for too long, seeing as he soon had a lot of cooking and prepping to do. Plus evening plus. Finally done. Naruto sighed out happily as he sat down on a chair. He looked over on the table and was happy to see that all of his work neatly packed up and sitting on the table, all sealed into the scroll. Well, for someone that no one expects to have any romantic ideas or even cooking skills, this will surely be surprising. He thought with a smile as he closed his eyes to relax for a moment, only to quickly open them again after realizing something he nearly forgot to do. Holy shit, I need to get ready. He yelled out in his head and quickly ran into the shower, completely missing the fact that Haku was now standing near the front door, simply watching as a blur sped past her. Naruto-sama, she mumbled out in confusion, still simply standing in the door frame out of shock. Still, she eventually shook herself out of it and walked to the bathroom door and gently knocked on the door. Naruto-sama, are you okay? She called out, still confused. Hey Haku-chan, yeah, I am fine, just getting ready for the surprise I have for you girls. So, put on something comfortable and I will be out in a few minutes. Oh, and don't look inside of that scroll. I want it to be a surprise. Naruto told her through the door. Okay Naruto-sama, she told him, simply still super confused but still did as he wanted. Plus several minutes later plus. Naruto finally finished his shower and changed into a new outfit and was simply waiting for Haku to finish getting herself ready while holding his scroll firmly in his hands. Then as soon as she was ready, he rushed them out of the door to go collect the other girls. Plus some time later, Naruto and all girls plus. Okay Naruto, we are all here, what is this surprise you have for us? Ino asked, now curious, seeing as he was talking about it for the whole time he was getting them all together. You will find out. Now follow me. Naruto told them with a smile, then quickly began jumping on the rooftops to get to his surprise location as fast as he could, seeing as time was ticking. Course he made sure to carry Ayame with him, seeing as she was unable to truly follow them, much to her enjoyment and her company's annoyance. He then finally jumped onto the Hokage Monument Mountain and waited for the girls to catch up. Now we are here, and as for the surprise, Naruto told them while finally opening his scroll and unsealing the project he was working so hard on. When it opened, the girls saw a rather large picnic basket on a blanket. While it was a nice thought, it still looked like just an average date idea, which confused the girls, seeing as he seemed so proud of his idea. It looks real good, Naruto-kun. Hinata told him, being nice. Oh, just wait, all of you. While even I know that this is the go-to date idea for guys, I think my part is a bit better, you just have to wait a few minutes. Naruto told them, then dragged the blanket closer to the edge of the mountain. He then began unpacking all the food, much to the delight of the girls. For Naruto somehow managed to get a lot of their favorite foods and even a thermos filled with tea that smelt perfect to them. Now let's just enjoy ourselves until it is time for my surprise, Naruto told them happily. Course all of the girls were still confused but still sat down and enjoyed the meal he made. Course they were pleasantly surprised by how good it tasted and actually enjoyed the date, where they all just enjoyed the date. Finally it is time for your real surprise, girls, Naruto finally told them after a while, and made them look over the edge of the mountain. What the girls saw truly was breathtaking for them. For the sun was setting and all of the rays were lighting up the village to make an amazing view. Wow, Naru-kun, how did you ever find this view? Ayame asked, memorized by the wondrous view in front of her. Well, while I was young, I used this as my getaway spot. Needless to say, I always loved to see this, Naruto told them. Now how about we enjoy this last day before I leave, shall we? Naruto asked the girls, and needless to say they truly did enjoy this date now that they knew this truly was something special that Naruto made just for them. Plus a while later, after a long night of fun, Naruto finally had to call it a night and brought each girl back to their own homes and made sure to give them each a loving kiss, seeing as they wouldn't be seeing each other for a while. He then quickly made it back to his own room and finished packing up his stuff for his training trip. He then tried to fall asleep, only for Haku to walk in and snuggle up close to him, wanting to spend one last night together. So, he allowed it and wrapped his arms around her waist. I don't know what this training will involve, but I will make sure to get strong enough to protect all of you. For now that I have you in my life, I don't think I will get used to being alone if you ever have to leave me, Naruto thought sadly, thinking about each one of the girls who were unknowingly now one of his most precious treasures that he would protect as much as he could. Even if to get to be able to, he would have to leave them alone for a few years. Still, he decided to stop thinking about such depressing things and forced himself to sleep. Next day, early in the morning, Naruto woke up thanks to the sun coming through his window. Still, he didn't let this bother him and quietly got out of bed, being extra careful to not wake Haku. He then got ready for the day and strapped on his backpack and weapons pack. He then leaned down and gave Haku a gentle kiss on the forehead before quietly leaving the room and going to the gate he needed to meet Jiraiya at. Village gate. Hey Gaki, ready to go? Jiraiya asks Naruto with a large smile as soon as he saw Naruto appear in front of him. Yay, let's get started, Naruto told him after taking one last look at the village before walking out of the village with Jiraiya. It will only be a few years, girls. Then I promise to make it up to you, just wait for me to be able to protect you, Naruto thought as he walked away, determined to get as strong as possible to protect his girls. Chapter 29. After leaving the village, both Jiraiya and Naruto walked towards what to Naruto was an unknown destination. Though while he tried to figure out where they were going, Jiraiya made sure to get a good look at each of the women that they walked by with a smile on his face. There always is beauties to see even on the open road. It is just a shame that I don't have Naruto willing to take on the life of a pervert. I mean, right now if I tried to make any moves on these girls, he surely would stop me. Damn brat. Still, I suppose it is a good thing as well, seeing as I do need to finally make good on my promise to take care of him. But the amount of time this is going to take from my research is inhumane to a master pervert like me, Jiraiya thought sadly after glancing at what looked to be a family with several older daughters around the father. So, Ero Sennin, where are we heading? Naruto finally asked now that his patience for waiting to be told has worn thin. Well, that is a surprise for Uzumaki. Jiraiya told him with a wide smile now on his face as he happily watched Naruto get more annoyed with him not explaining. Just tell me already. Naruto complained. Well, maybe if you showed me a certain jutsu of yours I would, but then you would have to travel like that for the rest of the trip. Jiraiya offered while rubbing his chin and blushing heavily, remembering his new student's supposed pervert-killing attack. What? No. I am not going to use that jutsu, especially just for you to ogle at my transformation the whole time. Naruto yelled at him while shivering in fear at the thought of being stuck with Jiraiya's eyes on his body for any length of time. This answer, while partially disappointing Jiraiya, also made him smirk a bit after a few moments. Naruto, you have a lot to learn if you give up on information so early. Jiraiya thought as he then watched the fear run through Naruto. But soon enough the blonde went right back to fidgeting around the path, clearly bored yet again. He then shook his head at the teenager's antics but still continued waking towards the village he needed to get to. Village. Jiraiya and Naruto finally made it to a pretty small town near the edge of the Fire Country territory that seemed to really have nothing too special about it. This led to Naruto lazily looking around the village houses as they walked by them. Hey, so now that we are finally here, will you tell me why we had to travel all the way to this village? Naruto asked Jiraiya, now more confused than anything else. This question that made Jiraiya pause for a moment before he began to chuckle a bit. Of course you wouldn't know this town's secret due to being so young and naive, but I have known for many years now. In fact, it is one of the main reasons I come to this village so often. Jiraiya told Naruto with a large smile on his face. He then leaned in closer to a now very interested Naruto and whispered in his ear, "This village is home to the best brothels in all of the Land of Fire." With the grin growing even larger even as he watched Naruto's excitement quickly change to disbelief and then anger. "So, you brought me all the way here just for you to go visit some prostitute? Damn you, I could have just stayed with my girls a bit longer and caught up to you after you wasted your time trying to hook up with some unfortunate woman." Naruto growled out at the old man. "Oh, I assure that they always love when Jiraiya-sama comes to town, Gaki." Jiraiya told him with a perverted chuckle and then grabbed some money out from his pocket and held it out to Naruto. "Now how about you go get us a decent place to sleep, if I come back tonight?" Jiraiya told him, then let out another perverted chuckle. Course Naruto just stared at him for a moment before angrily grabbing the money and stomping off away from the old man who just watched him leave. "I am sorry Naruto, but with the way you are right now you aren't ready to learn this part of my skills," Jiraiya thought with a small frown before heading towards a brothel. He then entered the building and ignored the smell of smoke, booze, and sex that permeated the air. Though his real challenge was ignoring all of the scantily dressed women around the main lobby who were doing their best to draw in some business for themselves. Still he walked past them while only ogling their bodies before finding a woman who seemed to be in her 40s and was clothed much more than any other person currently in the room. "Hello Margaret, how is business doing?" Jiraiya asked the woman with a smile on his face. "Doing great, you old coot. The girls are bringing in so much more now that we don't have to worry about those damn bandits coming to try and kidnap them. Thanks for that, by the way. I lost too many of my girls to those bastards wanting free fun." Margaret told him, then lit a cigarette and began to calmly smoke it. "No problem. It is the least I could do for someone who helps me with my business," Jiraiya told her, giggling perversely. "Oh, right, you are still writing those damn things. Anyways, enough chit-chat, what do y'all want, you old coot?" she told him, making his giggling stop. "Well, I was just wondering if my regulars were working today," Jiraiya told her with the smile still on his face. "Yay, those two are in, but are you sure that you want them again? I mean, you could easily go for some of the fresher girls here," Margaret told him while waving her hand towards the girls that were still trying to catch the eye of some of the males that came in the building after Jiraiya. "Now you know me. I love my girls aged like a fine wine. My regular is more than enough for this guy," he told her, making her sigh and lean on a nearby wall decoration. "Okay then, they are in your normal place," she told him, pointing to the hallway of rooms behind her uncaringly. This gave her a small word of thanks as Jiraiya passed her to the room he knew would be his. So, he quickly walked towards the room with the smile and perverted blush never leaving his face even as he opened the door. Though quickly after entering the room he shut the door tightly behind him before pulling out a piece of paper that had a seal written on it and placed it on the door. He then put a small amount of chakra into the seal that lightly glowed blue before returning back to its normal black ink color. "Let's hear what you got." Jiraiya then ordered the two people in the room as he turned around to see an average-looking guy and girl in front of him with his perverted and cherry facade now replaced with a completely serious look. "Hi, Lord Jiraiya," the man told the Jiraiya. For those of you who didn't notice, this is Jiraiya meeting with his spies. After all, he is a spy master. Plus night, at Hotel Plus. Phew, finally done. Jiraiya mumbled out happily to himself as he walked to the room. He felt his newest student's chakra coming from. Now that I have heard from him, I have a decent amount of time before I need to meet with anyone else to get Naruto finally started on his training, with the step that could be the most important. Jiraiya thought, still serious before entering the room and quickly saying good night to Naruto, who woke up ready to fight before he himself went to bed. The next day both Jiraiya and Naruto were back on the move, now heading towards the shore, with Naruto still annoyed with the older man due to not learning anything so far even while he took time off to visit a brothel. Still he listened to Jiraiya and followed the man even though he yet again had no clue where he was going. In fact, he only got more confused when they finally reached the shore and Jiraiya purchased a small rowboat that was just big enough for the two of them. From a small shack they found. "Oi, why do we need this thing? I mean, we are ninja, where could we possibly be heading that we can't just walk on the water too?" Naruto asked, more annoyed than ever. "Well Gaki, let's just say that we are heading towards a place where using even a small bit of chakra could be very dangerous, and leave it at that," Jiraiya told him before placing the small boat in the water and handing Naruto the oars. "Now it also will help you with your training now, seeing as you are rowing," Jiraiya told him with a small smile before jumping onto the boat. Course this smile only grew a bit bigger when he heard Naruto's quiet mumbling and cursing sit down on the other side of the boat. "Now let's go. Just keep heading straight and we will eventually reach our destination," Jiraiya told him simply. "But where the hell are we going?" Naruto asked, now completely enraged that he has been kept in the dark for so long. "Naruto, I promise you that within half an hour or so we will be able to see if this stop is worth our time. But for me to see if what I heard about this place is correct or not, I have to keep you in the dark to see what will happen to the unknowing person. Don't worry, I promise that if it gets dangerous then we will stop immediately," Jiraiya told him, completely serious. A serious face that was so rare to see that even Naruto forced himself to swallow his anger and trust his sensei for a bit longer. So, after this outburst they simply rowed in silence, with Naruto struggling to keep his annoyance and curiosity buried, becoming harder with each stroke of the paddles in his hand. "Okay Naruto, now before we go any further, I am curious about something," Jiraiya told Naruto finally after ages of rowing, causing him to stop and simply pay attention to Jiraiya. "You said you have practiced your clan's water molding technique, haven't you?" he asked curiously, getting a simple nod in return. "Well, do you mind showing me how it is going? After all, we are in the perfect place," he asked, then added the second part while waving his hand at the large amount of water that surrounded them on all sides. Okay Ero Senin," Naruto ended up telling him with a small shrug, clearly confused but willing to do anything to get a bit away from the monotony of rowing. He then reached over the boat and began to focus on pushing his chakra into the water. This made the water glow and begin to move in tendrils all around the boat, going in various directions with no real meaning before falling back into the ocean around them. "Wow Gaki, you have gotten pretty good at that, haven't ya?" Jiraiya asked with a happy smile on his face. "Yay, seeing as it is all I have left of my clan, I want to learn as much as I can about it," Naruto told him, clearly proud in his clan's abilities. "Really?" Jiraiya mutters out while looking down at the water around them before turning to Naruto with the smile back on his face. "That is good. Now let's get back to this journey, though now you won't try to push the boat using your water manipulation," Jiraiya ordered Naruto, who happily complied, seeing as he finally got some training in after waiting for so long. Though what he didn't notice was that while he was focused on molding the water with his chakra, a light glow could be seen deep underneath them before seemingly disappearing. "Come," a gentle voice whispered out on the sea breeze around them, causing Naruto to pause and look around confused while Jiraiya's smile grew. "Home," it whispered again before the glow returned around their boat. But this time the glow seemed to form a curved line that seemingly glowed from the sea floor, and if someone was to be flying above they would have noticed that this glowing line curved around a decent-sized island that was pretty close to them, though not close enough to be actually visible. So, it is true. Jiraiya thought happily, looking at his student who now seemed to be zoning out. Come, lost child, to your home. The gentle voice called out yet again, though seemingly louder, to Naruto, and for some reason he used his chakra push the boat slightly off their chosen path. They then speed towards an island that had raging waters surrounding it completely. Course this worried Jiraiya, seeing as Naruto didn't seem to be stopping the boat even though he was bringing them towards dangerous waters. In fact, he was about to try and grab Naruto and flee from the natural disasters around the island until the boat suddenly stopped. Naruto? Jiraiya asked, now partially confused by what was going on. After they were now stopped dangerously close to what was causing the water around the island to be so ragged. For in front of them was a long line of whirlpools that seemed to wrap all around the island. Whoa, was all Jiraiya could think when he saw this, seeing as each one of these whirlpools were easily big enough to suck in a whole fishing boat. Course he was broken from his shock when he felt a large amount of chakra around him. So, he quickly looked back to Naruto, who still seemed to be almost in a trance with a chakra chain sprouting from his back. Naruto then suddenly launched this chain down into the water while not moving an inch. Meanwhile, even though neither one of them could see it, the chain was speeding through the water down towards the bottom of the ocean. Finally, after it reached the sea floor, the chain was dragged seemingly randomly around the sea floor until it hit a certain spot. After it hit, the chain dug into the muddy ground slightly before extending even more and slowly moving as if it was stuck in the whirlpool that was nearby. Course this stopped after a few moments now that it was moved in a way that made the Uzumaki clan's symbol. Up above, still standing on the boat, Naruto hadn't moved in a minute, which made Jiraiya worry a bit, so he began to move closer to the young blonde. Though just as he took his first step, another large burst of chakra launched out of the blonde that made the chakra chain glow dark blue. The color change was slow and began at the base of the chain on his back, but eventually moved until it reached the point where Jiraiya could no longer see the change down in the water. Just what is going on here? I know this was part of the plan, but the information said nothing about this. I mean, for Kami's sake, Naruto is constantly releasing a ridiculous amount of chakra. It is like he is launching out hundreds of ranked jutsus one after another. But the chakra toll of that is beyond ridiculous. I mean, even I would die of chakra exhaustion after a few seconds of this constant chakra release. Just how much of a chakra monster are the Uzumakis? Jiraiya thought, shocked, seeing as while he always knew that Naruto had a lot more chakra than even the average cage-level shinobi, but this was insane. In fact, he was sure the only things that would be able to match it would be the Biju or the Jinchuriki if they were actively using the Biju's chakra. Though his thoughts were paused due to him now seeing an extremely bright light in front of him. Thankfully, though, the light died down enough for him to see, but this also let him see something that shocked him yet again. For perfectly fitting around the edge of the whirlpool in front of them was a massive seal that even he could not fully understand. Though after about a second the light returned and disappeared yet again in the same manner, showing that the whirlpools to either side of the first one also had the seal glowing around them. He just couldn't help but stare at the crazy level of fuinjutsu in front of him that he even failed to notice Naruto bring up one of his hands and position them in a half-ram seal. Kai, Naruto whispered out, and all of a sudden, the glow of the seas began to die down. Though much to the shock of Jiraiya, when the seals stopped glowing, the whirlpools themselves disappeared as well, like they were never there. Leaving the water in front of them somehow calm, even though all around them the whirlpools still were going strong. How is this possible? I tried to learn all I could about seals, but yet this is far beyond anything I could do. I mean, they actually managed to make their own whirlpools of that magnitude and even somehow made the seal keep going for so long even though no one is here to feed it chakra. Did they somehow figure out a way for seals to use nature chakra by themselves? But that is impossible. Jiraiya thought, yet again completely shocked. A mindset he was stuck in, even as Naruto, who was still in a trance, pushed the boat to shore with his water manipulation again. Thankfully, though, they both woke up from their problems at the same time when they felt the boat thud against the shore of the island. What? Where are we? Naruto asked, now completely confused and actually winded, feeling like a large amount of his reserves were taken from him. He then looked over to Jiraiya, who was now getting out of the boat and stood on the shore. A motion he copied, but unlike Jiraiya, a seal appeared underneath his feet as soon as the both were on the ground that stole a small amount of his chakra before disappearing. Well, Naruto, let me welcome you to your home, well, your ancestral home. For we are now at the ruins of Uzushiogakure. Jiraiya told him, shocking the blonde, who quickly looked around and saw large piles of stone and buildings covered with moss all around the island. Welcome to the island protected by seals so strong that when they were attacked, the island's own protection was strong enough to claim the lives of nearly half the invaders. In fact, the only reason I even attempted to bring you here was the rumor that I once heard. Jiraiya told Naruto, who instantly went from looking at the island in wonder to being completely focused on the old man. Rumor. Yep, you see, your mother told me that her village had nearly impenetrable walls that only opened by a key seal that each person living on the island fed chakra to. An idea that made me wonder how Uzumaki like you, who were born off the main island, would ever be able to go to their clan's home. She then laughed at me and simply said that when the seals recognize a member of the Uzumaki family, they will know what to do. Something that has always confused me until now. Well, I am still confused how, but it worked. Jiraiya explained to Naruto, who now looked at him with wide eyes. Wait, you mean that I somehow had a seal activate that made me zone out like that and deactivate the defenses? Naruto asked, shocked only to see Jiraiya nod his head. Yay, when I first had you use your chakra, we were close enough to what I heard was the range of the seal so that it could figure out that you were a clan member. In fact, I think that seal when you took your first steps onto the island was either the same seal or another one that put you into the database of clan members or something, so I guess you won't need to do that again if you ever come back. Jiraiya told Naruto with a shrug. Really? Naruto asked, completely shocked. Well, that is what I am taking away from it, your clan's seals surpass even my knowledge. Jiraiya told Naruto honestly. Anyways, let's get to the real reason we came here, which is to see if we can find any more information on your clan's jutsu and maybe even some training scrolls. In fact, who knows what we may find. Jiraiya told him, excited. Now let's get started. He happily called out, just as excited as Naruto was, seeing as there possibly was new information even for him to find, and began to walk towards the ruins. Course, after hearing this, Naruto was just as excited and quickly ran ahead of Jiraiya to get there first, causing the old man to shake his head. Better be happy now, Naruto, seeing as when your actual training begins you will only be cursing me. After all, I have to make you at least a higher rank threat in only 3 years. Jiraiya thought with an evil smirk, but then refocused on his current task. Konoha, Haku. After Naruto left, Haku already began missing him after waking up without the warmth of him next to her. So, instead of getting out of bed to start the day, she wrapped herself in a blanket to try and enjoy whatever warmth she could get. After all, warmth is something that all ice users couldn't get enough of, seeing as their very chakra nature made them cooler than regular people. Naruto-kun, it hasn't even been a full day yet and I already miss you and the wonders you have put into my life. Haku thought sadly with a small frown on her face. A frown that she didn't let stay long and instead simply began to get ready. After that, she quickly ate a small breakfast before heading to the hospital as fast as she could without actually running there. Hospital. At the hospital, Haku quickly walked past the reception desk only to be stopped by one of her acquaintances who worked at the front desk. Hey Haku, what are you doing here today? It's not your day to work. The woman asked curiously. I know, but my boyfriend just left to start his training, so I have to make sure I work as hard as I can to get better as well. Haku told the woman, determined to be better in all of her skills before Naruto came back. Course, after she told the receptionist this, she quickly walked off to go train, leaving the girl alone again. Konoha, Hinata. Hinata woke up as she normally did and quickly began her regular morning routine with a small smile on her face. Okay, so I don't have to do anything for the clan today or for my team, so I can yet again spend a lot of time with Naruto-kun. Oh yeah, he left today. Hinata thought sadly as she now ate her breakfast. Though thankfully this frown didn't last too long before she suddenly gained a determined look on her face. Naruto went to train to follow his dream. He wouldn't want me to simply waste time getting upset over this. No, in fact I should copy him and use this time to bring me closer to my dream. Was her now happier thought. A thought that made her next destination quickly become the clan's training area where she began practicing her clan jutsus. And I also need to make sure I am strong enough to keep up with Naruto as well. After all, unlike most males, the easiest way to Naruto's heart is through food and fighting. She thought with a giggle, but soon refocused on her training, never even noticing the fact that she had someone watch her train. It is nice to see Hinata finally putting a good amount of effort into her studies, though this is no doubt caused by that boy. Still, I suppose if she manages to become someone that this clan can be proud of, I suppose he isn't all bad. She thought calmly before quietly walking away from the training room, deciding his morning warm-up could be skipped this one time. Konoha, Ino. Ino finally woke up when the sun rays shone down directly on her face. She then lazily stretched out before getting up and doing her own routine. Now, unlike the others who used the sadness and loneliness she too was feeling to train, she simply was trying her best to ignore it. She was until breakfast when her father asked to see her in his office. "You wanted to see me, Dad?" she asked him, curious now that she saw him sitting at his desk looking serious. "Yes, Ino. You see, your mother and I have been talking it over and finally have decided that you are both old enough and have enough skill to begin learning the next level of our clan's jutsus. So, you are going to train right with me, and when you are prepared enough, I will even be having you help me with my job down in the T&I cells, torture and investigation," he told her seriously. "Oh, okay, Dad." Ino accepted, already nervous about what her new training would entail. "Good. We start after lunch, so be ready," Inochi told her with a small smile. "Now go enjoy your morning," he added in, and she simply left his office, still surprised by the news of her now increased training routine. "Well, I guess you aren't going to be the only one to training a lot for a while," Ino thought simply before trying to both enjoy her morning and also get ready for training. Konoha, Ayame. Sigh. "I knew that dating a ninja would be tough, but come on, it is only the first day and I already miss seeing my ball of sunshine come in looking for a chat and some ramen." Ayame thought, a bit annoyed with herself, but still forced herself to focus on work to keep her mind off of missing the blonde. Sadly for her, the entire job she has itself is a huge reminder of Naruto. Chapter 30. Uzushiogakure ruins. Jiraiya and Naruto made it to what seemed to be the center of the remains of the village and simply began looking around at the rubble. For the once great village was now just a few buildings that seemed relatively sturdy, with the rest of the buildings in various stages of decay. There was also rubble all around that looked to not only be from rubble but also from various earth jutsus. In fact, signs of battle were easily seen all around the village, seeing as there was holes, scratch marks, various rusted weapons, and masses of earth strewn throughout the place. Still, these were not what caught Naruto's attention the most. For as soon as he entered the village, he saw various skeletons all around, which were clearly the remains of the clan that once lived there. A fact that Naruto was well aware of, seeing as after a battle is won, usually the victors collected their dead to protect their village's secrets and for burials if it was possible. Course, this fact alone got Naruto angry enough at the other villages that he started to leak out a large amount of ki and began to draw on the Kyuubi's power, though he suddenly lost focus on his rage when he felt a sudden hand on his shoulder. A hand that he found to be connected to a serious Jiraiya as soon as he turned his head to see the man behind him. "Naruto, I know you are upset about this, but they died honorably by trying to protect their home. Now, while I am a bit annoyed with the ninja of old for not at least burning the remains, it has at least given us the chance to give them a proper burial," Jiraiya told the blonde, trying to give a weak reason to calm down. After all, he didn't know quite what to say besides that, due to knowing that he would have reacted the same way, making him just hope he doesn't try to go for revenge. Course, for Naruto, Jiraiya's words did little for him, seeing as he was furious but got thinking a bit. How dare they just leave my family's remains to decay like this? It is respectful to at least burn the remains so that they don't have to rot away. I hate them. Who cares if it was war? They didn't need to kill my entire clan. I could have had a family if they didn't do this. I need payback. I want to go hunt down some of those bastards that were sent after my clan," Naruto thought, still completely enraged, before a picture of Sasuke flew through Naruto's mind. Revenge, the very thing that made that idiot throw away his entire life, Naruto thought, now struggling to make up his mind about what he wanted to do with the feeling of rage he currently had. He thought about it for a few minutes before simply pushing it to the side of his mind to think about, and decided to focus instead on what should be done right now. "Sigh, Jiraiya, you are horrible at trying to make people calm down. But for now, let's find a place to bury the remains. I will think about this later," Naruto told Jiraiya, making the old man proud that Naruto didn't completely let himself go into his rage. They both then walked a little bit before they found a wide area that besides being overgrown with plants was seemingly untouched. Ah, here we go, this will be perfect. Now how about we get started on this? Jiraiya told Naruto with a small sad smirk before beginning to reach for a scroll only to be quickly stopped by Naruto. No, Jiraiya, I feel like this should be done by a clan member to make it respectful, and to pay my respects. Can you please just set up our camp? Naruto asked Jiraiya, who quickly agreed, seeing as he knew that Naruto didn't mean to be rude by this at all. A fact that made Naruto give the old man his thanks in his thoughts as he grabbed a few tools from his survival storage scroll. Plus several hours later plus. He then spent the next few hours slowly scanning the island for any remains possible to seal into a scroll. After that he spent the rest of daytime he had on digging out graves by hand and placing each remain into its own grave. Phew, finally done. Naruto mumbles to himself, now enjoying the cool night air. For in front of him was a large number of graves, each with a decent-sized brick with the Uzumaki swirl on it. Thankfully for Naruto, he didn't need to look far for these markers, seeing as the bricks from the rubble of a nearby wall worked perfectly, and now with his work done Naruto finally walked away from the graves a bit to reach the small camp that Jiraiya set up. Finally finished. Jiraiya asks Naruto as soon as he came close to the fire that he made, and then handed the blonde a cup filled with tea. Yes, I finally have given my people their proper burial. Naruto told him grimly, still a mess of emotions from having to do that in the first place. So, now what is our plan? Naruto asked, trying to get his mind to stay off of his anger and sadness. Well Gaki, we are going to spend the next few days trying to see if we can find anything of interest in the village. This means that we will be looking for any seals, scrolls, and possibly even weapons. Now of course most of this will be decayed due to time, but you never know what we may find. Also feel free to grab whatever else you want, seeing as this entire island does belong to you. Jiraiya told Naruto, who simply nodded his head. Oh, and after we feel like we got whatever we could, we will move on and truly start your training, but for now get some sleep. You deserve it after your task. Jiraiya added on before he got into his tent and tried to get some rest for himself as well. Course Naruto simply just sat by the fire quietly for a little longer, just watching the flame while he was lost in thought. Still, he eventually shook himself out of it and finished his drink before heading to get some sleep as well, with thoughts of what he could find dancing in his head. The next day the duo picked up some of the stuff around their camp before heading into the ruins to scan for anything interesting. A task that was much harder than one would think, seeing as they had to be extra careful so that they don't miss a seal that may be on something. After all, those seals would be the best chance they have to find something that is of value. Plus 3 days. Later plus. Note that I have skipped ahead just because I didn't want to write a large search for a whole chapter. May put in some clips of them finding stuff later, flashbacks, but for now I just want the story to move on a bit. After searching the entire village, Jiraiya and Naruto ended up getting very little for their effort. In fact, they only got a few scrolls and a few weapons that were coated in seals to prevent them from decaying away. Though for Naruto he was more than happy, seeing as he not only found a few random things to remember his clan's home that he sealed away safely as well. Also, while about 80% of the scrolls they found were jutsus and clan techniques in various fields, there were also several scrolls about his clan's history as well. So, needless to say, Naruto couldn't keep the large smile off his face even as they left the island. It is good to see that he is happy even though the sadness he had to deal with in the begging. I just hope that his rage about what happened to his clan affect the way he treats the other villages. After all, he may just be the one. Jiraiya thought as he relaxed in the boat as Naruto rowed them back to the mainland. Now Naruto, when we get back to land we are going to be starting your real training. Now we will start with making sure you have the basics down perfectly before moving on to a mixture of me teaching you what I know and you learning from the scrolls we collected from your clan. Jiraiya told Naruto, who nodded his head still smiling. Okay Ero Sennin. Whatever it takes to get strong enough to protect my precious people. Naruto told him, determined. We will see if you are that confident after going through my training. Jiraiya told him with a sinister smile on his face. Oh, this is gonna be fun. I will be training him into the ground, not only to prepare him but to also get revenge for him calling me perverted all the time. I mean I am, but him saying it ruins my chances. And the best part is fact that due to both his clan and having the Kyuubi's regenerative abilities, his body will let me beat him into the ground, then in a few hours I will be able to do it all over again seeing as he would be completely healed. Jiraiya thought, trying hard to suppress an evil chuckle. Still for now he simply relaxed as much as he could in the small boat while Naruto tried his hardest to get them back as fast as he could. Eventually Naruto did make it back to solid land and let out a cheer seeing as he was red and excited to learn stuff that came directly from the clan that for such a long time he never even knew he was a part of. So, of course he happily followed Jiraiya as they found a spot to get set up for what was going to be a long session of hardcore training. Plus 1.5 years later plus. Okay Naruto, stop for today. It is time for something special. Jiraiya called out in the forest clearing that was their home for the past year. Soon after yelling this, a dark blur jumped out from the forest and landed in front of him. This blur turned out to be Naruto, who really didn't change too much besides just natural growth. Though he now wore Anbu-style pants and shirt with a dark blue version of his Uzumaki jacket. A jacket that now had the Uzumaki swirl in black on the back and had all of its pockets seemingly slightly filled. What are we doing now, Ero-senin? Naruto asked, happy to know that he already wasn't looking up to Jiraiya as much anymore. Well Gaki, because you have been training so hard I have decided we are going to take a short break in a ninja village, let you see what it is like in other villages. I also have things I need to do as well, but it shouldn't take more than a week. Jiraiya told Naruto before quickly gaining a blush and began to giggle perversely. Now come on, let's get started on our journey. He added and then began to walk away, knowing that Naruto was following behind him even though he knew that the blonde didn't want to take a break. I am sorry Gaki, I promised myself that I would focus on your training, but my readers need their books before my publishers go mad. Besides, it should take only a week or so and you have come so far already anyways. You truly are a mixture of those two. Now if only I can get you to use those looks of yours to help me with my work. Jiraiya began thinking before turning his thoughts back to the village that they will eventually make it to. Nadashiko village. So, tell me, why did we have to remove our headbands and begin walking with this group of traders? Naruto asked, curious now that both he and Jiraiya were in normal clothes, walking slowly while simply watching the carriages move. They were now both in simple kimonos, with Naruto in a dark blue one and Jiraiya in a red one. Well Naruto, this village dislikes when other ninja enters, but we need to get in here for some of my important business. Also, this is going to be a test to see if you will be able to do any infiltrating later on. Jiraiya told him quietly, seeing as he didn't want the people around them to know they are ninja. Well, they just hate ninjas as in males in the village, but Naruto doesn't need to know that. Jiraiya also added with a small smirk. Okay, Naruto simply told him with a small shrug before continuing his slow walk into the village. Course he quickly got bored of the slow pace and began to look around him to see if he could find anything to keep himself from thinking about the trip. Soon enough he saw a rather plain-looking guy that normally would never catch his attention, but this guy seemed to be both nervous and worried as he fidgeted in his seat of the carriage. So, out of curiosity he decided to see what was going on with the guy. For those of you who want to know, I am having Sagiri be alive for this story. Hey, what's up with you? You seem stressed. Naruto told the guy as he walked up. Huh, oh no, I am good. Sagiri told Naruto before realizing he had no clue who he was. Oh, I am Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto told him with a wide smile that was so warm that Sagiri could help but get a small smile on his face as well. Sagiri, he told him simply. So, what are you going to sell in the village? Naruto asked, partially curious. Oh, well, right now all I am doing is helping my parents sell their wares. In fact, I actually have helped my father carve a few figures this time. Though mainly I am just meant to carry the heavy stuff for them, seeing as they are getting older. He told Naruto simply while grabbing out a small figurine made of wood from a box behind him briefly before putting it back. So, what about you? What are you selling here? Sagiri asked the blonde, who now froze while desperately trying to think of something to tell him. Oh, personally I have nothing to sell, but I am here with my master to learn his ways. I think he is selling some things and maybe even working on some stuff around the village this time. Naruto stuttered out, congratulating himself for the lie even if it was a poor one. Interesting. This is the first time I have met someone who is dedicating years of their life to learn a specific craft from a master. Sagiri replied, somehow not wondering why Naruto took so long, and paused while answering. Phew. Thanked Kami, civilians are way too trusting. Naruto thought, relieved, but still continued his conversation with Sagiri and actually enjoyed the talk. Soon enough though they finally reached the village gate, and seeing as the traders already had an agreement with them, it was relatively easy for Naruto and Jiraiya to quietly enter as well, and then they split off from the trade group to meet up in a quiet alley. So, what is the plan now that we are in the village? Naruto asked Jiraiya, who began giggling perversely. Well Naruto, for this week I have business to attend to. So, this will be a break from your training as a reward for getting so far already. Though remember to do at least some light training during your break as well. Anyways, I am gonna go attend to my business. Jiraiya told Naruto with a wide smile before quickly leaving to go be perverted, leaving an annoyed Naruto in the alley. Wait, we just went into an all-girl ninja village and he was giggling perversely. Damn, that bastard decided to take a week off of my training just to get a whole village pissed at him. Damn him, Naruto thought, annoyed while growling. He even got more annoyed when he realized that thanks to them sneaking in as civilians, he couldn't even do much to train, seeing as the ninja guarding the village would notice him immediately. Still, he could do nothing about it anymore, so he simply decided to take this time to get some presents for his girls in the marketplace. Let's see. While I probably shouldn't buy anything too closely related to work as a ninja, there still has to be good stuff for my Heims. I mean, this is a village of mainly females in both civilian and ninja terms, so there has to be some really good gifts around. After all, these merchants have to have their stuff be geared towards girls already, Naruto thought with a small smile while looking around. So, he spent the next couple of hours searching for good gifts for each of his girls and was quite pleased when he found more than enough options. For Hinata, he managed to find a cafe that he talked into letting him buy a copy of the recipe for a few of their popular sweets for her to try creating to satisfy her massive sweet tooth. Though he couldn't get away with them until he signed a contract saying that he would never use them in a restaurant. Next, for Haku, he found a simple snowflake necklace that he planned to make more special and practical for her later on through the use of seals. After finding that, he soon found a merchant who was selling weapons that were more geared towards civilians and decided to make sure she had a way to protect herself if needed by buying a pair of small knives with cases that could easily be strapped to someone's leg and hid. Now of course he would make sure to teach her at least the basics of how to use them later on as well. Finally, he looked for something for Ino, who actually was the easiest one, seeing as she still loved things to accent her beauty like good makeup and other beauty products. Though while he tried to figure out what jewelry she would like, he saw his newest friend out of the corner of his eye. Sagiri was currently looking to try and be sneaking, judging by the way his eyes darted to each person around him as he tried to hide more in the shadows of the buildings. Course, to any even academy student it was child's play to see him, but for the average civilian who more than likely didn't care too much for what strangers were doing, it was more than enough. Still, he managed to make Naruto curious about what he was trying to sneak away to do, so Naruto decided to get Ino her present later and instead follow behind Sagiri. A trip that ended up taking around 15 minutes before they both reached what looked to be a training ground, where Sagiri sat down on the ground in the shade of a massive tree while Naruto hid behind a smaller tree a few yards away. They both then simply waited for quite a while before Naruto finally heard some telltale signs of someone approaching them. So he is sneaking off just to meet someone. Why? Is the secrecy needed? Wait, whoever this is has Chakra. Shit. Naruto thought, curious before noticing the chakra signature that was now close to him even though it was clearly being suppressed. Still, he wasn't worried about that at the moment and instead quickly grabbed a seal from his bag that he then quickly placed on his neck and activated. Phew, I am glad I made a few of these chakra-suppressing seals while practicing, or else this ninja would have found me instantly. I mean, sure, I may already have suppressed my chakra down to feel close to a very fit civilian, but if they are being so secretive, even noticing a civilian would probably put them on edge. Naruto thought while he let out a breath in relief that he kept himself from getting caught. Though now when he looked back to Sagiri, he now saw that he had a kunoichi hugging him with a large smile on her face as she placed her arms around his neck. Sagiri-kun, it is so nice to see you again. How is your family doing? She asked while still holding him close to her. A hug that Sagiri soon copied her and hugged her closer, though wrapping his arms around her waist. They are doing good, Shizuka-chan, but can we please just enjoy the time we have together, just enjoying each other and not talking about other people. I missed you. He told her, causing her to blush and mumble out, me too. Course at this point Naruto saw that it was clearly a date of some sort and decided to leave them alone. Though sadly he didn't notice a pile of dead leaves on the ground until he stepped on them, making Shizuka jump away from Sagiri and look in his direction. Who is there? Come out now, she ordered Naruto, who simply followed her orders, seeing as there was no easy way to escape without showing that he is a ninja. Naruto, what are you doing here? Sagiri asked while seeming both curious and for some reason relieved. You know him? Shizuka asked while moving her hand towards her weapon pouch slowly. Yay, I just met him on the way here. He is a fellow merchant and we actually became friends along the trip here. Sagiri told her happily. Well, I am sorry Sagiri, but even if he is just a civilian we can't have anyone know our secret. Shizuka told him, clearly upset with what she was about to do, but then braced her resolve and threw a kunai at Naruto, who dogged the weapon by pretending to fall out of shock. What the hell was that for? Naruto yelled out, glaring at Shizuka. Why did you try and kill him? He is my friend, Sagiri asked while turning towards her. He may be, but now that he knows we can't let him tell anyone. Do you even remember what kind of trouble we could be in if anyone told on us? She told him. But he won't tell anyone. He told her, clearly annoyed. We have to make sure though. She told him before running at Naruto while grabbing another kunai. Whoever you are, I am sorry I have to do this. But I want to be with him and I need to make sure no one will let the rest of my village know. They will kill him and I can't let any chance of that happen. She thought while prepping to stab Naruto through the heart to at least give him a painless death. What she didn't expect was for Naruto bring out a kunai of his own to block her. Damn it, I didn't want to show that I am a ninja, but she left me no choice. Naruto thought while Shizuka was too shocked to keep trying to kill him. So, while he had this break, he quickly removed 2 of his 4 chakra seals to let himself have about a normal Jonin's amount of chakra. This way he would be less likely to draw more of the village's ninja to them. He then focused back on Shizuka, who he saw was getting quickly over her shock. So, he quickly knocked her feet out from under her and got on top of her with his kunai right on her neck. Now tell me why the hell you attacked me. Naruto growled out at her, now annoyed that she tried to kill him twice. You're a ninja, she called out in surprise while now nervous, seeing as she was caught. Whoa Naruto, calm down please. I will tell you, just please let her go. Sagiri begged Naruto, clearly desperate to try and help her. Course when Naruto saw this, he reluctantly let her get up but made sure to watch her, seeing as he wouldn't be able to take advantage of her surprise anymore. You see Naruto, Shizuka and me, Sagiri began before she got in front of him yet again and glared at Naruto. Wait before you let any of our secrets out. Why is a ninja sneaking into our village? Are you a threat to my people? She asked him, completely tense, ready to have to fight to protect her village. Hey, calm down now Kunoichi-san, I was just following my sensei's orders. He said we needed to get here in secret so he can do the business he needs to do while I use it as a break from training. Naruto told her simply. What is this guy's plan with my village? Shizuka growled at him, making Naruto realize how shady that sounded. Hold on, he isn't here to harm the village. In fact, now that I know what he wanted to do, I wish we just kept training. Anyways, I promise you on my ninja way that he means no harm to the village, though you may want to keep your hot springs guarded more till we leave. Naruto explained. Course this calmed her down a bit, seeing as promising on someone's ninja way was the closest thing to a code of honor a ninja had. What do you mean by that? She asked, now more curious. The bastard forced me to take a break from training so that he can get inspiration for his book, which means he is going to try peeping on the poor girls of this village. Naruto explained to Shizuka, who growled a bit at the idea of a pervert on the loose. Now you can deal with my ass of a teacher later. Right now, I want to know why the hell you tried to kill me. Naruto told her before she tried getting any more information from him. How much about this village's ninja conduct do you know about? Shizuka asked after finally deciding to put the fact that a pervert was on the loose in the village till later. Next to nothing. Well, for our village here, each of our kunoichi only find a husband through fighting. For it is law for us to find a ninja strong enough to beat us and bring them back to raise a family here. Now this is done, seeing that as you can see most of the population here is female, though for my case the one who stole my heart was Sagiri here, who due to being a civilian doesn't have a chance of beating me, so to have our relationship we have been meeting in secret. She explained, hoping he doesn't use it against them. So you guys can't be together just because he can't fight you? Naruto asked, shocked and a bit disgusted with the fact that the village takes their free will from them. Still all he got was a sad nod from them. That is just not right, you should be able to love whoever you want. Naruto told them, still not believing that this village would force these two apart when they clearly cared for each other quite a bit. But then he realized something and began to smile at them. Maybe I can help, he told them, which confused both of them. What do you mean? Sagiri asked, now completely confused. Course, instead of saying anything, Naruto grabbed another seal from his bag and placed it on his forehead. He then did a basic transformation jutsu and now matched what Sagiri looked like perfectly. How about I fight you for him? Naruto asked her, now managing to make his voice exactly like Sagiri. Are you stupid? How can a simple transformation work to help us when it dispels easily and anyone who can sense Chakra can see that you have one on? Shizuka growled at him, thinking he was making a joke out of their problem. Course he just chuckled a bit, causing her to get more upset. Now you are right about that. But this isn't a normal henge. For after looking at some of the seals that my clan made, I managed to copy one of the most useful seals I have ever seen. It lets you constantly use one jutsu for as long as there is a chakra source. Not only that, but it is incredibly hard to see the source of the jutsu, which makes it nearly impossible for even the best sensors to track me. So, using this I can keep the henge on even while fighting, and it is next to impossible for anyone to realize I have it on. Go ahead, try. Naruto told them, smiling a smile that Sagiri soon got as well, along with Shizuka, after realizing that she really couldn't tell he was using the jutsu. There is one problem though. This is a fight to the death, and if I hold back they will know, so I can't. Are you willing to put your life on the line for us? She asked, making sure he knew how serious the fight would be. It doesn't matter, I will help you, after all I can't just leave my new friends to be unhappy, now can I? Naruto told them, shocking them both. Course after getting slightly over it they both gave him a strong hug, repeating their thanks for at least giving them a chance to be together. Though Naruto soon got himself separated from them and looked over to Sagiri. Now I am serious about helping you guys, but in the event that I somehow lose, then you will be dead, meaning that you would have to leave this village and never be seen in it. Else our plan would still be found out. Naruto told him, making sure he understood. Course what he didn't expect was for him to instantly agree. But this just let Naruto know that he truly did care for her. Well then, it is too late now. Let's meet back here and finalize our plan. Naruto told them, and they both quickly agreed, and with that they all went their separate ways. Chapter 31. The next day Naruto met up with Sagiri and Shizuka to finalize their plan. It took a while, but after they figured it out, Sagiri got comfortable in the forest to make sure there wasn't two of him in the village. Meanwhile Shizuka left to simply wander around her village, waiting for him to, suddenly, challenge her to a fight. Finally, Naruto left now in his disguise to work with the traders, so no one suspected Sagiri was someone else. Plus later on in the day, after working with his family for a while, Naruto, randomly, saw Shizuka walking by their booth and began his act. So as soon as she was close, Naruto stopped his work and simply stared at her until a random trader close to him. Dude, she is a ninja here. Don't even try it, I mean remember their rule. The random guy asked him, concerned. Course Naruto just ignored him and walked over to her, getting her attention. Can I help you? She asked, confused. Hello miss, I just couldn't help but notice your beauty from my stand. Would you mind joining me for a late lunch? Naruto asked her, clearly trying to flirt with her. Trader-san, you are aware of the village rules, right? Shizuka asked him with a kind smile. Yup, and I want to fight you for the honor of having a beauty like you next to me. Naruto told her with a bright smile that actually made her blush a bit, seeing as she wished Sagiri was really this confident. Well then I guess we will have to fight. Are you sure you want to do this? I mean you are just a trader. She told him, looking concerned. Hey, don't worry, I promise you I am stronger than you think I am. Naruto told her and then followed her to the closest training ground. Training ground. Now trader-san, are you sure you want to do this? This is your last chance before I go and get a judge to make this official. She told him, seeing as the traders that Sagiri came in were watching clearly worried about their friend. Now I am not giving up on you. Oh, and my name is Sagiri, or in your case husband, not Trader-san. Naruto told her, trying to show that he truly had a love at first sight moment. Hun, does Sagiri seem different to you? Sagiri's mother quietly asked her husband. Yeah, but right now I am more worried about him getting killed by this ninja. He told her before they both looked towards their son. They then watched as Shizuka sped away from them to go get someone to make the match official. Course when she left, Sagiri's parents quickly walked up to him. Son, are you crazy? Trying to fight one of these girls is suicide for civilians like us. His father asked. No, actually I have been training for a while to become a bit like a ninja. Don't worry, I can do this. Naruto told them, though they clearly didn't believe him. Sadly, they both knew that now that it was becoming an official match, they couldn't even protect Sagiri from his fate. For seeing as they have been trading with the village for so long that they saw what happened when someone who lost one of these fights tried to escape their fight. For when he was seen trying to escape, the entire village began hunting him down. It truly was a terrifying thing for them, but it left them with a healthy respect of the village's beliefs. Course while they were thinking, Shizuka came back with an older woman, same one that went with her to find Naruto. This woman then walked up to Sagiri and quickly looked him over. Are you the boy that has challenged Shizuka? She asked, bored, clearly already believing he doesn't have a chance to win. Yes, I am. Naruto told her confidently. Okay, state your name. She told him after shrugging her shoulders. Sagiri. He told her simply. Well then, Shizuka and Sagiri come to the middle of the field, and would all spectators please move a safe distance away. She told everyone, and they all did just that. Soon enough, everyone was standing away from Naruto and Shizuka, who both stood a few feet apart from each other. Now with me as the judge, the marriage fight between Shuka and Sagiri begins. The older women told them, and then jumped out of the way to let them fight. I hope you are ready, Naruto, Shizuka thought before grabbing a few kunai and started the match by throwing them at him. An attack that Naruto easily dodged, then brought out a basic katana from a ceiling scroll. Okay, I know I can beat her pretty easily. The problem is that if I use too many jutsu, then the traders will be suspicious about how strong I randomly became, too strong then weaker again. Not to mention my signature jutsu can't be used whatsoever. This will be interesting. Naruto thought before pushing some wind chakra into his katana. I guess I will just stick with the basic jutsu and weapons I was taught so it doesn't look too weird. Naruto added before charging at Shizuka, who quickly pulled out her tanto to block. They then began fight, only using their swords, with both of them trying to cut each other only to be blocked. Eventually Shizuka jumped away from him and began to do several hand signs before calling out violent whirlwind before breathing out a large amount of pressurized wind at Naruto. An attack that launched Naruto off his feet and slammed him back first into a tree. How do you ever plan to beat me if you can't stand one simple jutsu? She asked, trying to act confident but really was a bit worried. Che, don't worry, I will win. Naruto told her, then pumped a large amount of wind juice into his blade, causing the wind around the sword to pick up. He then slashed in the air at her direction several times while whispering out wind storm. An attack that Shizuka dived to the side to dodge, only for the attack as it cut scars into the ground. Sadly, when she did this, Naruto was already rushing towards her with his blade ready to slice her in half from head to toe. Luckily, she was able to bring her blade up just in time to stop his blade, but was clearly struggling to hold back the strength he put into his swing. Wow, Arrow Sennin's training actually worked really well. I mean, this fight, even with my limitations, actually isn't all that bad. Naruto thought happily as he continued to push against her blade. Course what he didn't realize was that he already could be considered at least a medium to high rank B ninja, while Shizuka had so much of her time taken away from training to focus on studying to control the village that she was around a low B rank range. I mean, no harm in this, it is just that she really did seem pretty darn weak when she fought against him, and I want this fight to end quickly. Also, she is distracted by wanting to lose, making her not do as good as normal. While Naruto was thinking, Shizuka quickly began spinning and began her dance performance. Second step to not only force Naruto's blade away from causing her harm, but to also launch several needles at him, forcing him to back off of her a bit to dodge. A break that she quickly used to take a deep breath and launch a wind bullet at a distracted Naruto that hit him dead on and this time slammed him through a tree. He then stayed on the ground still. Something that made all of the traitors Sagiri knew around him fear for the worst while Shizuka was hoping that Naruto wasn't actually able to beat her. Course much to everyone's surprise Naruto then slowly began to become darker before showing that he was actually just a mud clone. Though by the time everyone noticed Shizuka felt cool steel right next to her blade. Your biggest mistake was assuming I was weak Shizuka-chan. Naruto told her from behind her with his blade still held close to her. I surrender. Shizuka mumbled out looking upset but really was nearly crying out of joy for being able to be with her true love. The winner is Sagiri. The older lady called out clearly shocked by this happening just like the rest of the crowd. Course after she said this Sagiri's parents quickly rushed over to Naruto and gave him a strong hug. Oh my little boy, I never knew you were so strong. Sagiri's mother told him happily. Yeah, and I am so proud of my boy getting a hot ninja as his wife. I mean, just look at that bombshell. Sagiri's father told him looking over Shizuka with a blush on his face until he was hit hard in the ribs by an elbow from his wife. Hey, I was joking, sort of. He wheezed out trying to keep another attack from happening. Course Naruto just watched the two of them argue with each other with a small smile on his face. He was of course feeling a bit awkward seeing as they thought he was their child, but thankfully he was saved from trying to figure out how he felt about the attention seeing as Shizuka walked up to them causing both of his parents to stop talking and look at her. Congratulations Sagiri-san, or should I say husband. She told him with a small smile. Now if you two wouldn't mind I would like to get to know my new partner. She added then quickly grabbed his hand and began to pull him away as fast as she could while staying at a civilian's pace. Go have fun my boy. Sagiri's father called out clearly meaning it perversely which led to him being elbowed in the ribs again. Ah, honey why? He groaned out at the women who ignored him and simply watched her, son, leave. Back in the forest After dragging him away from the where they could be seen by anyone Naruto quickly released his jutsu seal and they both speed up and reached where Sagiri was within a minute. Course as soon as he saw both of them, he instantly shot up off of the fallen tree he was sitting on and rushed over to them with a large smile on his face. So, seeing as you came together I am assuming Naruto-kun's plan worked. He asked getting large smiles from both of them and a quick nod. With that being seen he quickly picked Shizuka up in a tight hug. Yes, we can finally be together. He told her with a large smile on his face that Shizuka shared. Yes, hun, we can finally be officially together. And it is all thanks to you Naruto-kun. She told him. Hey, anything to help my friends. Naruto told them happily. Now let's go celebrate. Naruto told them happily then began to walk back into the village with the new official couple following after him. They then enjoyed a good part of the day just celebrating while they both repeatedly thanked Naruto for literally risking even his life just to help people he just met. Still eventually Naruto left them to enjoy the rest of the day and went back to his hotel where he saw Jiraiya happily writing while sitting on his own bed. Hey Gaki, how is your break going? Jiraiya asks glancing up at the boy while pausing his work for a moment. Well, to be honest, just like last night I am kind of pissed at you for wasting some more of my precious training time even after telling me how much I need it, but my newest friends have made this a bit better. Naruto told him before getting ready for bed. Now I am tired so good night. Just don't wake me up with your damn giggles if you plan on writing that junk for much longer Naruto told him then tried to fall asleep. Hey, it's not junk. This is top of the fine literature. Jiraiya complained before simply looking at the boy as he tried to sleep. Darn brat, still calling my stuff trash. Still, it is good that you are making some more friends. After the shit I let you go through in your childhood, it is nice to hear that you are having a better life now. He thought with a small smile before going back to his work seeing as he didn't want to hold off Naruto's training even more. The next day Naruto woke up and quickly started his normal routine before walking out to try and figure out what to do for his next day of vacation. Course he finally realized that he never got Ino a gift and quickly went to try and find something for her. Thankfully he quickly was able to find a few pieces of stuff he thought she would like even if it was more for beauty rather than practicality. He then went to get a decent meal before heading back to the hotel to get work done on Haku's present, seeing as he really had nothing else to do, seeing as he didn't want to train too early in the day. After all, with such a small amount of people outside currently, the kunoichi who were guarding the town could focus in a lot more on any weirdness that could happen even out the outskirts of their town, even if it was only minor chakra spikes. So, in order to not risk causing a major incident, Naruto sat down and spent the morning carefully carving seals into her gift to truly make it as useful for her as possible. Course, after a while he heard a knock on the door and quickly hid his project from view and walked to the door. "Who is it?" Naruto quickly asked, tense seeing as Jiraiya would have just came in, so fearing the worst he prepped for a fight if he was found out. "It's Shizuka. Can I come in?" she asked, surprising Naruto slightly, but he still opened the door to let his new friend in. "Sure, come on in. Though how did you find me?" "My seals are back on," Naruto told her, causing her to smile a bit. "Simple, even with it being small, now that I know what it actually feels like, I was able to pinpoint it even if it was pretty small. Course I was only able to get a general area of here, but I was able to ask around to find you. After all, several of the civilian girls couldn't help but pay attention to where you went," she told him with a smile that grew when she saw him pale a bit. "Please don't tell me this village lets fangirls in. I have already seen how terrible they can be at home," Naruto asked her, causing her to laugh. "Don't worry, I am sure they aren't that bad. Though it is good to know that you fear girls," she told him, only to laugh as he glared at her. "Oh, calm down, I was only kidding," she told him. "Anyways, why did you come here anyways? I can't imagine you came just to pick on me," Naruto asked, now curious only to watch as she began to look troubled. "Well, seeing as you risked so much for us, I have decided that you need a reward that is worth of such a risk, so I have decided to break another rule of the village to thank you for the joy you brought me." She began, only to have Naruto look at her concerned, seeing as she almost seemed to be nervous and struggling to say whatever she wanted to. "You know you don't need to thank me with anything. Especially if you are fork," Naruto began, only for her to quickly say, "No," to interrupt him. "No. You risked everything for us, so there is no way I can let that debt go unpaid. So I am going to teach you a few of the village's jutsu. Now know that I am not going to reveal any of our strongest jutsu, and if it is ever found out that you have our jutsu, the village may put a hit out for you, and I would have to deny knowing how you ever got them. So, are you willing to take this as your reward?" she asked him seriously. "I am sorry, but I can't let a debt this big go unpaid, and this is the only thing that I can think of to get rid of it." Shizuka thought, slightly sad but thinking that he deserved it for not only letting her be with her loved one but to be able to have someone to help her change the village's rules to let her fellow ninja be happier. "Well, I didn't expect that honestly, but if teaching me is the only way you will feel like your not existent debt is paid, then, who am I to deny learning some new jutsu?" Naruto told her with a small smile. After he told her this, she decided to get started right away, seeing as there was now people out, seeing as it was now around the middle of the morning. So, he quickly followed her to a training arena where she carefully taught him a few of their jutsu while at the same time getting to know each other a bit more. Plus day 6 in the village plus. For the rest of Naruto's break, he now had a routine to spend his days in the village. In the morning he would either work on one of his own projects or simply explored the village. Then a bit before lunch he would meet up with Sagiri and Shizuka to have lunch and then go train while Sagiri watched from a safe distance. He then spent a good part of the rest of the daytime he had simply spending time getting to know his newest friends more by simply spending time with them. Finally, with the small amount of time he would have left her during the time Sagiri and Shizuka went on a date, he would train what he learned from Jiraiya and his clan scrolls by himself while making sure to not bring too much attention to himself. Still, he now was reaching the end of his break time and now was spending time packing up his stuff before heading out to spend as much time as he could with his newest friends. "So Naruto-kun, do you really have to leave soon?" Sagiri asks as they ate lunch in a small restaurant. "Yeah, Ero-sensei only wanted to spend a week here, so sometime tomorrow I will have to leave and continue with my lessons. Still, it was nice meeting you guys," Naruto told them with a small smile. "I guess, but it is a shame that you couldn't stay for a bit longer," Shizuka adds in, seeing as she really was starting to consider Naruto as a really good friend even though they just met. I wish I could, but my lessons are really important and are something I have to do in order to protect my precious people. Naruto told them, thinking of his girls. I still am a bit annoyed about that whole polygamy thing though. She added, clearly annoyed. Hey, it's not my fault the village forced me into it. But now I don't think I could dump any one of them, they just mean too much to me. Naruto told her, completely honest with them. For each one of his girlfriends had their own spots in his heart and he knew he would be heartbroken if he lost any one of them. I just can't believe your village would make such a horrible law. She told him, clearly a bit annoyed but nowhere close to how annoyed she was when she first found out. For after that, even Naruto spent the next few hours explaining that the girls all agreed to it and weren't forced at all. In fact, he even had to prove to her that he really did love them and just wasn't taking advantage of his luck. For even if he was her friend, she wouldn't stand to be around a womanizer. Course they would have continued their talk if they didn't hear a loud scream coming from the other side of the village, which drew everyone's attention outside. Soon after that was heard, everyone could hear a lot of running and soon saw an old man with long white hair running from a large mob of kunoichi who were clearly furious with him. Course everyone besides Naruto was shocked by this, seeing as they had no idea what could possibly cause everyone to be so mad. They also didn't expect said man to quickly run into the building they were in after getting a good distance away from the mob. Eros Senin, did you really have to cause trouble, especially right before we leave? Naruto told his sensei while fighting his desire to face palm. Hey, I had to finish my project. Anyways, I grabbed our stuff from the hotel and we need to go now. Jiraiya told him, glancing at the mob which would reach him in a few moments. Well guys, I guess I will have to say bye now. Hopefully we see each other again sometime. Naruto told them after a sigh before beginning to follow Jiraiya as he ran out of the village. Though he at least made sure to run a bit away from the old man just in case Jiraiya did get caught. After all, he didn't want to be punished for whatever perverted thing Jiraiya must have done. I wonder where we are going next and what I will train there. Naruto couldn't help but think as he continued to follow Jiraiya. Course soon after he thought this, one of the women chasing said old man threw a kunai with an explosive note on it that they both had to dodge. Sadly, for Jiraiya, when he dodged, he got his foot stuck under a fallen tree branch and fell, which left more than enough time for the women to catch him. Hey girls, please be gentle. Jiraiya asked the women as they began to beat him up for revenge of whatever he did to get them mad. Meanwhile, Naruto just sat in a nearby tree watching and let out a heavy sigh. Well, I guess my training will be postponed even longer to let this idiot heal, Naruto thought, annoyed but still made no attempt to try and help his teacher. Nadeshiko village. At the same time Jiraiya was getting his punishment, Sagiri and Shizuka sat at the same table where they were eating with Naruto at simply talking about their plans. So, I am going to head home my parents and our group one last time, and when we come back here to trade with you in a month, I will bring all my stuff here so we can finally start our lives together. Sagiri told her with a large smile on his face. Yay, but does it have to be a month? I mean, we have already waited so long for this. Shizuka complained. Can't we just get you new stuff from the stores around here and have you stay with me now? She asked with a small frown. Now I don't have the money for that. He told her honestly. So, I will use the money I have saved up. She told him simply, only for him to frown. No, Shizuka-chan, while I want to share with you, I have to at least be able to take care of myself. After all, I don't want to mooch off of you for the rest of my life. Please just give me a month and I will be back, I promise. He told her, simply causing her to pout a bit. Oh, now you get a backbone. She told him teasingly before getting serious. Fine, we can wait another month, but you better be ready to start our life together as soon as you get back. Otherwise I will hunt you down like I almost had to do for some random promise. Shizuka ordered him. Huh, you had to search for someone thanks to a promise? He asked, confused. Yeah, apparently a perverted ninja snuck into the village a while ago and fought our leader. They both fought hard, but in the end the guy won. Sadly, he didn't want to marry her, and for some reason, instead of forcing him to do so, they made a promise. The promise was that his apprentice will have to fight for the hand of the woman who is the next in line for controlling the village. She told him with disgust in her voice. Wait, so that means that you would have had to hunt down someone you don't even know would even exist? Sagiri asked. Yay, but thankfully I didn't need to start looking for a while, but thankfully Naruto helped us from needing to worry about that. I mean, I am sure I never would be able to get along with someone taught by a perverted guy like that. In fact, I be that anyone taught by that guy must be a huge pervert as well, so thank you so much for keeping me from that torture. She told him simply. You're welcome I guess, but really we got to thank Naruto. I mean, he is the one who made this really possible. I can't help but think he must be one of the kindest people in this world. Sagiri told her honestly. Yeah, he really is a one in a million kind of guy, so I guess I am just lucky enough to meet two one in a million guys in my lifetime. Shizuka told him with a large smile. Right, 1 in a million. Sagiri mumbled out, thinking about something. Back with Naruto and Jiraiya. After the women left, Naruto jumped off of the tree branch and wrapped up the injuries that he got from there. Fun. When he finished with that, he helped Jiraiya get up and they both began walking towards wherever Jiraiya decided their next stop was. Course after a while Jiraiya somehow managed to heal enough to walk on his own with minimal amount of limping and was now glaring at Naruto. What? Naruto asked, confused why his teacher was so mad at him. Why didn't you help me escape from that mob of women? Students are meant to help their mentors. Jiraiya complained. Che, as if I would ever dive into that mash pit of angry women. Besides, I have no clue what you were up to in the village, but whatever it was probably made you deserve that. Naruto told him, simply causing Jiraiya to glare at him even more. Damn useless brat. Jiraiya mumbled but didn't push the conversation any further. Eventually he let his anger go and simply began going over the two people that he saw with Naruto and couldn't help but chuckle a bit. I wonder if Naruto even knew he was close to the girl he will eventually have to fight for. After all, he is my student, still with her looks I doubt he would mind. Jiraiya thought with a perverted smile on his face. Chapter 32. Jiraiya and Naruto were still traveling via tree hopping while still following the main road after Jiraiya somehow made a miraculous recovery after being beat up by the girls he angered. Hey Gaki, we should be to our next spot within a few days depending on how fast we go now. Jiraiya called back to Naruto with a grin on his face while said blonde growled at him. For Jiraiya made it Naruto's goal to catch Jiraiya before they took a break, and so far he has had no luck. In fact, whenever he tried to speed up to catch the toad Sanin, his prey seemed to speed up just enough to keep Naruto a good distance behind him. Damn old man, why the hell does he somehow have regenerative abilities at a level that is close to mine? I mean, if he was still hurting, this would have been a piece of cake. Still, I will not lose this bet. Naruto thought, determined as he continued to glare at the back of his teacher. Course, what he didn't know was that instead of using the bet only as a way to get what he wants, he also is using it to train Naruto even while they don't have the time for a full training session. For making Naruto catch up to him at a continuously faster pace would not only make Naruto faster but also possibly push his chakra levels to increase depending on how much extra energy he needed to use to keep up with Jiraiya. After all, while Jiraiya was getting old, he still was a ninja who was still cage level. Even with all of Naruto's skill, he had no chance of catching Jiraiya for as long as Jiraiya decided to tease Naruto. A game that lasted all the way until they reached their next training zone. Front gate of Takigakure. Okay Gaki, welcome to our next stop. Takigakure, which happens to be home to quite the variety of wonders. Jiraiya told him happily. It is just a waterfall, Naruto told him, thinking the old man has lost it. And here I thought you actually would have something pushed through to that tiny thing you call a brain. Jiraiya mumbled out, then ignored Naruto yelling out his annoyance with the insult to continue. Look underneath the underneath, he told him, then watched as Naruto tried to look at the waterfall in a new way. For the first thing Naruto did was simply try to flare his chakra to see if it was just an elaborate genjutsu, a tactic which obviously failed, making Jiraiya chuckle. Nice try, but it is a little simpler than that, Jiraiya added before walking on the water into the waterfall, leaving Naruto alone. A fact that of course made Naruto race after him soon after to see what happened, only to be stunned when he hit the other end. For when he made it, he saw a beautifully crafted village that seemed to be built in a way that let the trees be mixed with it perfectly, giving it a peaceful feeling. Whoa! Naruto mouthed out, shocked by this, before looking over to his teacher who was smiling at him. Now let me repeat myself. Welcome to Takigakure, Jiraiya told him while waving a hand at the village. Anyway, you can sightsee later, right now we need to go see their leader. After all, don't want the guards who were nice enough to let us pass think we are doing something we're not. Jiraiya added in, quickly pushing Naruto further into the village while at the same time his clones released the genjutsu they placed on the guards that were outside. After all, no village no matter how small would let ninja in without at least questioning why they were there. Something Jiraiya didn't want to deal with, so just used his cage-level stealth to stop them from noticing a thing. Still, he wanted to at least meet with their leader, seeing as if they were now caught without at least doing that it would be taken as an act of aggression, something he would rather not deal with. So, soon enough they both found where the leader was and calmly walked up to the receptionist that was present in the decent-sized building. "Hello, we would like to meet with the leader of this fine village," Jiraiya told the young man who was sitting at the desk. "Oh, okay, do you have an appointment?" The man asked, clearly intimidated seeing as he knew of Jiraiya the Sannin. "No, but I am sure he can make time for us if you just ask. I promise we won't take up too much of his time," Jiraiya told the guy, who quickly seemed to accept this just as a reason to get away from the man that to the rest of the world was one of the most dangerous ninja. I will ask Shibuki-sama, please wait here for a moment," the man told them before running off through the large doors behind him. "Oi, what the hell did you do to make that guy practically pee his pants at the sight of you?" Naruto asked Jiraiya, who just looked at him seriously. "That, Naruto, is what happens when you get a reputation, and mine just happens to make people outside of Konoha nervous and make most of our enemies terrified," Jiraiya told him, remembering all the times where he was able to avoid a fight with the random ninja he met just because they fled from him as soon as they recognized him. "Wow," Naruto mumbled out, for once actually looking at Jiraiya in a new light, not that he would ever stop calling him his rightfully given nickname. Course they had to stop talking seeing as the man re-entered the room and slowly walked up to them. "Shibuki-sama said he would see you. Please head through these doors," the man told them, then pointed at the doors he just came back in through. "Thank you," Jiraiya told him simply, and did just that with Naruto walking behind him. Course he chose to ignore the fact that when he walked past the man the guy completely tensed up in fear. Instead he simply looked at Shibuki, who watched them enter his office. "So, what can I do for you, Lord Jiraiya?" Shibuki asked the sage to break the ice. "Oh, you are the leader here. I would have never expected it to be someone so young. You must be pretty special to be able to do that." Jiraiya praised the man in front of him, trying to calm the tense air that was in the office. "Yes, well, it was determined that I would be the best suited for the position, and I have been trying to do what is best for my people ever since. Now I will ask again, Lord Jiraiya, why have you snuck into my village today?" Shibuki asked, clearly wanting to get to serious business. "Well, you see, I was wanting to spend a while here training my apprentice here in the area surrounding here. I just wanted to get your permission before we began," Jiraiya told him. "That is all?" Shibuki asked, only to get a nod from the old man. "Well then, what would we gain from letting you use our grounds?" "Well, as you know, I am someone who has knowledge on a lot of things around our small world, so, how about I let you hear some of this information in exchange for being here for a while? I promise what I say will be well worth your time," Jiraiya told him. "And what information would this be?" Shibuki asked, now clearly interested. Now I won't be telling you a thing till you let us train here for a bit. Now let's work out a deal," Jiraiya told him simply before looking over to Naruto. "You know the drill, Gaki, go find us a hotel to stay in for the night while we work this out," Jiraiya ordered Naruto, who left while grumbling about bossy old men the whole way out of the room. "Sorry Gaki, but I am saving training you in politics and spying much later on. For now I just can't have any chance of you messing up something I need to work," Jiraiya thought before giving Shibuki his full concentration yet again while unsealing a small scroll. "Now let's get down to business," he told the younger man simply. Naruto, in the village. This is really happening to me too damn much," Naruto complained mentally as he yet again got a room in a hotel and then simply had nothing to do but wander around the town while Jiraiya did his own thing. Still, he tried to make the most of it by trying to see what the village has to offer for both sights and use. After all, when Jiraiya started to train him here, he wanted to at least find some spots not too far from the village to use. Training sessions that he was now close to even forcing himself to beg for, seeing as he had more than a week of him literally having nothing to be able to burn off his energy with. For besides the short fight he had and the run to this village, he really wasn't able to truly get a workout. Though for now he would just have to suck it up and examine his surroundings. The village itself, besides the beauty of its surroundings, seemed rather normal, with all of the buildings built in the same style that Konoha used and seemingly the same material. Though what interested Naruto the most was the fact that most of the shops seemed to have a strange sign dangling somewhere in plain sight of the road. The sign seemed strange to Naruto, seeing as it depicted a beetle with a red circle and with a line going through the middle of it. Wonder why these signs are so popular. I mean, it is not like bugs can actually read. Either way, I gotta tell Shino about this place later on. I bet I will get to finally see him show some emotions when he learns that his precious bugs make him not allowed in these shops. Naruto thought with a quick chuckle. Soon enough though, he was brought back to his current location when he heard a nearby door quickly open up. A deed that was done by a strange figure that was completely covered in a cloak even while it carried a small sack on its back. Now of course this quickly drew in Naruto's curiosity, which grew even more when he saw the person suddenly decide to run off towards the outer edge of the village. Well, now I got something to keep me interested for a while, a hunt to figure out the mysterious person. Hopefully I will even get a fight out of it, seeing as it looked like a robber. Naruto thought happily before chasing after the figure before he completely lost sight of the person. "Che, idiotic Nigan," a dark voice growled out within Naruto's head as it watched Naruto run after the figure that had demonic chakra within it. "Still, this will be interesting for me," the Kyuubi added after a few moments, chuckling as he began imagining what Naruto would be doing when he found out about the demonic chakra. The Kyuubi then got comfortable as he saw Naruto quickly catching up to the figure that stopped in a field a bit away from the village. "Hey, stop. I want to talk to you," Naruto yelled out while leaping off of the branch he just tree-hopped to. "What do you want, human?" the figure asked in a voice that clearly was both feminine and on edge. "Whoa, I just want some information. No need to try and attack me," Naruto told the woman with his hands raised in front of himself. An action that seemed to get her to lower her defense a bit, but still clearly was worried about him, seeing as they refused to complete drop their guard. "No one ever comes looking for me for anything other than trying to get their damn revenge for something that I didn't do. So, excuse me if I don't believe you. Now you must be new in this town, so let's just pretend this never happened before you learn what the rest of these humans know," she growled out at him. "Geez, she is so defensive. I wonder what the hell happened to get her this way. Though for some reason she does seem familiar kinda," Naruto thought as he continued to simply watch over the girl in front of him. Not surprisingly, this made her seem to bring back her defenses as if she was preparing for an attack. Though what did surprise him was the fact that he could hear buzzing coming from all around them and soon began to see a bunch of random insects flying around in more erratic paths around them. These bugs are going nuts for some reason," Naruto thought, confused before having a quick flashback to the signs he saw in the village and then to what she just said. Wait a minute, didn't she say that the village is taking revenge on her, the weird, human thing, and I swear I read somewhere that one of the tailed beasts was a bug-like thing. Is she just like me? Naruto thought, shocked, not being able to hide the fact that his eyes widened when he realized the possibility of this. "Jinchuriki," Naruto mumbled out softly while still in shock, causing the girl in front of him to completely tense up and look close to even attacking him at any moment. A fact that Naruto quickly tried to fix. "Oi, no need to get prepped for a fight, I was just surprised. I mean, it isn't every day where you meet someone with the same problem, seeing as there are only 9 of us," Naruto quickly told her, shaking his hands in front of him, trying to show that he wasn't going to harm her. "Why, you are one as well?" she asked, surprised herself. "He is someone like me, no. He must just be trying to trick me and then hurt me like all the others. I can't trust him or else," the girl began arguing with herself before getting cut off. "He is telling the truth, Fu, I can feel demonic chakra coming off of him," a voice in her confirmed. "Lucky 7, well, if you are saying it is the truth, then I guess I will give him a slight chance," Fu decided, but still kept her guard just in case he still ended up attacking her. "Very well, we can talk for a bit, come with me," she told him finally, then watched as he whipped some sweat that to her seemed to be only a figment of his imagination off his head. "Okay, thanks," Naruto told her happily. "Phew, for a second there I thought that I would have a fight to deal with, though it may have been a good way to see where I am at. Naruto thought as he began walking behind her as she brought him further into the forested area, but soon shook his head and went back to real life. So, I'm Naruto, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto told her with a big smile. I am Fu, she told him simply, clearly not wanting to talk too much with him. Well, nice to meet you, Fu. I am glad to see that I met another person like me, even if it seems that people are dicks around her to our type as well. Naruto told her, trying to break the ice, but ended up glaring a bit, remembering the cruddy childhood he had himself. Yes, the humans are terrible, but there are a few good ones. Fu agreed with him before remembering the few people she actually liked somewhat in the village. Flashback warning has dark moment in it. If you don't want to read, skip to end of flashback. A younger Fu was dressed in dirty and torn clothes, was scavenging around her village for anything that could be of use to her. For just a little while ago her village had the bright idea to put the "No Monster Allowed" sign on their buildings and even pushed for it to be a law. Now sadly enough, even though their leader tried to help her a bit, he was overruled by their council's vote. Thus she could no longer enter any of the buildings that had the sign hung upon them. Sadly enough, that ended up being most of the buildings around the village, especially apartment buildings, hotels, and shops. This is what left her in her current position, for apartment that she was given ended up forcing her out after putting the sign up, leaving her to live off the streets with even less than she had before. In fact, right now she was living in an alley that was able to protect her slightly from the elements, but also was close enough to the shopping area so she could quickly grab anything she needed if possible. Speaking of which, she couldn't help but groan slightly as her stomach growled out, demanding food. Lucky for her, she saw one store that for some reason didn't have the sign up, so she, figuring it would probably be her only chance to get some food, she quickly entered the store. When she entered the store, she saw that it seemed to be just a regular civilian supply store. In fact, it was filled with a random assortment of goods from food to clothing, but not much suited for ninja. A fact that at the moment she didn't care about, but instead quickly ran towards the food and grabbed some bread, meat, and cheese while trying to restrain herself from eating it right then and there. After all, if this store let her get stuff she needed, she didn't want to wreck her chances for later meals. Due to this, she quickly brought the products to the counter and steeled her nerves before looking to see if the clerk would actually let her buy stuff. Sadly, when she got to the desk, there was no one there, and even after ringing the small bell they had on the desk, no one showed up. Though thanks to her enhanced hearing, she was able to hear that there at least was people here, which made her hope they would come quick to see if she could get something into her ravenous stomach today. No, I told you I don't want to do this yet. She heard a feminine voice call out from one of the rooms behind the counter. Oh, come on, you know we have been dating for a while. It is time for us to try something new. A more masculine voice was heard soon after. No, I am not ready for this, please Philip, understand this. The female responded. Che, by this time Mai and me were much farther than this. Philip seemed to tell the girl with anger in the tone. Well, unlike her, I am not a whore and won't take my relationship that fast. I promised Ma and Pa I wouldn't. The girl told him, causing a growl to be heard. She is not a whore, she is just a good girlfriend. Like you should be. Philip was heard, clearly annoyed. Well, my answer is still no, and if you don't like it, then I guess we are through. The girl answered, and Fu heard a dark chuckle come from the guy. Fine, if you want to be done, we are, but I didn't work so hard not to at least get a taste of what your smoking body has to offer. He told her, and then Fu heard something that sounded like two people moving and seemingly fighting in some way. Stop struggling. You know you stand no chance, after all I am a ninja here and you are just a civilian. Philip told the girl after the fighting seemed to lessen. No, please don't do this. Why you won't get away with this. The girl told Philip, clearly terrified. Hee, that is where you are wrong. I know your parents are heavy sleepers, so they won't be able to hear a thing, seeing as you were kind enough to let them have some time to relax after bringing in a new shipment. Plus no one that could possibly hear us will pay any attention to it, and even then it is hard to think it will happen with all the sounds coming from the shoppers around us. Philip told the girl he was talking to. I will make sure that you don't get away with this. The girl's voice was heard, clearly terrified, and then she had Philip chuckle darkly again. Well, it is too bad that after a simple jutsu you won't be able to remember a thing about this, if you were lucky. After all, I might just take the lazy route and have you go missing. Now let's get started. Fu heard before hearing the girl obviously begin to struggle again. Now at this point Fu had a pretty good idea to what was going on and was unsure what she truly should do. For really with the way she was treated she didn't owe any good deeds to anyone in the village. But on the other hand the headband she just recently received was given to her in faith that she would support her village and protect all who were inside. After a while she finally made up her mind and decided to just this one time help someone in the hopes that the village would stop being so mean to her. And with that she quickly placed her food on the counter and moved towards where she heard the struggling. After finding the room she quickly opened the door and saw just what she expected. For a man who seemed to be in his late teens or early 20s was holding a girl who was about the same age firmly onto the ground and was well on his way to get ready to rape her while she clearly was crying and begging for him to stop. A sight that actually made Fu angry seeing as she just like any other girl refused to believe that anyone would deserve this and that this man was truly trash. Sadly this anger led to her pulling on to some of the demonic chakra in her body that she has yet to get some control off and make it visible in the real world. A chakra spike that the man felt and quickly turned around to see Fu standing there. Well, looks like our cute little demon has found us. She isn't much but while I am at it I might as well make sure she knows her place as well. The man mumbled to himself before quickly making a clone that held his current victim and turned towards Fu with a dark look on his face. A look that Fu knew all too well and quickly had flashbacks to all of the times the other members of the village attacked her for what she couldn't control. Though the fact that this man not only wanted to hurt her but to also take what was precious to all girls from her was the breaking point for Fu. So, unknowingly letting the demonic chakra control her she quickly drew out a bit more of the chakra but still not enough to alarm any of the ninjas that could be around the area. Still it was more than enough to make her little more than a beast that was ready to defend itself as it let its basic instincts take hold. A fact that made it to when Philip grabbed onto one of her wrists with his dark intention clear she quickly coated her other hand with chakra and swung at his chest with as much force as she could. Something that normally would only cause maybe a few broken bones to anyone who was hit. Course in her case the chakra used was nearly all demonic which made it a bit more deadly seeing as it was corrosive to humans. A fact that showed itself as she hit him seeing as it not only launched him back first in the wall behind him but also left a second-degree burn where it hit him. "Ah, you damn monster," Philip growled out looking at the burnt that was visible through the hole in his shirt. Course he didn't get too long to do so because she quickly jumped at him and hit him again but this time due to having no way to either but launched away from the hitter to escape he had no choice but to scream out in agony as the chakra burnt through his tissue quickly and soon enough pierced completely through him. A wound that caused him to bleed out rather quickly but able to feel the immense pain until the light finally faded from his eyes. After her attacker was dealt with Fu was able to calm down enough to take back control of her actions and looked in horror at the fact that her hand was stuck in a dead ninja's chest. So she quickly pulled her hand out of his chest and held it in front of her completely shocked that she just killed someone for the first time in her life. Thankfully she wasn't able to fully go into shock and begin to get disgusted because a sound next to her quickly brought her back to reality. Thank you so much. The woman that now was pretty much naked but free told her shocking Fu. For this is the first time someone who had to know who she was had thanked her for anything. How can I ever repay you? Wait, I know, the women told Fu before quickly heading away leaving the girl to stew in the fact that she killed and not only that someone that she was supposed to work with. A thought that made her steal her thoughts for now and try and figure out a way to hide this fact before the village hates her even more. Sadly for her she could only think of one way, and that was to not only hide the body but to silence the girl who was a witness as well. It is okay. I have to do this, if I don't she will tell someone and get the village to hurt me more. Fu mumbled out before shakily pulling out a kunai and trying to bring herself to actually kill yet again. Course at this point the girl came back into the room with a few towels, a ceiling scroll and a bag of food that reminded her of her extreme hunger. Here we keep a few of these scrolls on hand just in case a ninja decides to buy stuff from us. I know you need to hide this and I promise I won't tell a soul, after all you did this just to save me. Oh, and here have some food on the house. I saw the stuff on the counter so food is what you must be after right now, right? The girl told Fu shocking her. For not only was this girl saying she would protect her instead of hurt her but was now holding something that she desperately needed. Two fact that made her put away the weapon before the girl could see it and decide to just this once trust a human. After all, it was bribing her with the food that her stomach was making her want to grab the girl's hand and dig into right then and there. She did though somehow manage to stop herself from going for the food and instead reached for the towels and scroll while ignoring the way the girl still slightly tensed in fear. Fu then sealed the body away and began scrubbing at the floor with the towels to try and soak up most of the blood. Though much to her surprise, the girl she saved actually grabbed a towel herself and began to help, even though her face looked to be just as green as Fu's currently was. Still, after a few moments they were able to hide most of the signs of the murder taking place and walked towards the front of the store. So, thanks again for the help. Oh, and please, valued customer, if you need anything else please come again. The girl told her, seeming to decide to act like Fu was just a normal customer to hide the horror that just took place. Why, you are welcome and thanks, Fu told the girl, not used to using friendly words like these still. But this didn't make her stop for too long before she quickly left and went towards the forest as fast as she could. She then buried the scroll in a place she thought that no one would ever look before beginning to scarf down the food as fast as she could, seeing as for once she would be full. Flashback end. After that incident, Fu actually was able to get a few more friends in the Masaki family. For even though the parents and two siblings never knew what happened between Fu and their daughter, they still followed their sister's wishes and gave Fu a chance. A chance that let her win them over and begin to treat her as almost a distant family member. In fact, as soon as the family learned she didn't have a home, they quickly got enough supplies to build her the treehouse she currently lived in, and even though they didn't know it, they were one of the key reasons Fu actually was able to keep her sanity throughout the years. They also were the reason she wore a large cloak, seeing as while she made sure to get everything she could from the store, she wanted to make sure she didn't ruin their business just by being allowed there. Also, thankfully, the incident and ninja was never brought up too much by anyone, seeing as he wasn't a good enough ninja for any of the others to actually miss him. Though she did make sure to dig up her scroll after learning how to control bugs from her now friend that was sealed in her. Said bugs made quick work of eating away the paper the scroll was made of, taking away any chance that she could ever be linked to the murder, even if no one really cared. Still, she had to stop herself from daydreaming about her precious people for too long, seeing as she had an unknown so close to her and they were also now at her home. Here we are. Now come, let's talk, Fu told Naruto before jumping up to her small home with the blonde following. They then got as comfortable as they could before they finally began their conversation. So, my first question is, what the hell do those signs that are on so many of the buildings in town? Naruto asked and watched as she goes from being neutral to clearly being a bit upset and even angry. Those signs are for me. For seeing as they all know I have Lucky 7 sealed in me, they forced a rule to have it so that any building with that sign on them I can't go in. She told him. What? That is bullshit. How did they ever push a ridiculous rule like that? I mean, for me they just overcharged me for crappy stuff, but really they let those assholes stop you from even entering completely? Naruto asked, just as annoyed with the village as she was. They did, simply because the council took a lot of the control from our last leader. In fact, poor Shibuki-ni is way too close to being just a figurehead now. Fu admitted, remembering how hard Shibuki tried to change the village. He would be just shot down before he could get anywhere. In fact, they were super close to even forcing her to be banished. That just isn't right, Naruto mumbled. Still, at least you were able to get yourself set up away from them, Naruto told her, trying to be optimistic. Yeah, thankfully my precious people were able to help me set up my own little sanctuary away from the humans. Fu told him, completely agreeing. Why do you call them humans anyways? Just because we are Jinchuriki doesn't mean we aren't human, I guess. But I would rather not associate myself with people like that. Yeah, I understand that, but just because some people show the world that the real monsters aren't demons doesn't mean they are all bad. So, lumping all of them in with bastards like that is almost as bad as them just assuming we all are just the demons we have in us, I guess, Fu mumbled out, clearly at least thinking about what he said, which is all he could ask for. They then talked about other things just to lighten the mood a bit before talking about the last thing on his mind. In fact, after a while he actually was already feeling like he was friends with the girl who was treated just as bad, if not worse than he was. So, do you know of a group called the Akatsuki? Naruto asked, deciding to not beat around the bush anymore. Akatsuki. It is a group of S-class ninja that work in pairs of 2 and wear black cloaks with red clouds on them. They also are hunting, for us. Naruto told her, finally dropping the bombshell of news, and watched as she went from confused to a bit afraid for good reason. Why? Was all she could ask. To be honest, I don't know. But I figure you should know so you can get yourself ready for if you ever need to defend yourself from them. Naruto told her. They then tried to bring their conversation back to more enjoyable topics now that she had fair warning. A goal that they eventually succeeded in doing so for the most part, and just slowly got to know each other as they grew their new friendship. Though eventually Naruto sensed Jiraiya flash some of his chakra out, which for them was a message meaning he wanted to see Naruto for some reason. A fact that actually upset him a bit because he was enjoying himself with his newest friend. Still, his desire to train soon outweighed his temptation to stay, and quickly said goodbye to Fu and launched towards Jiraiya's location as fast as he could. In the village, with Jiraiya. Hey Ero Senin, how'd it go? Naruto asked the old man happily. Well Gaki, I got stuff all sorted out. Now if you did like I told you to do, then we can finally get your training started back up finally. Jiraiya told him and smiled at the boy how was jumping for joy in front of him. They then went out to one of the training areas around the village, and before Jiraiya turned back to Naruto, now holding out a small piece of paper. What is this? Naruto asked, confused. Well, even though I taught you a bit about elemental jutsu, I still haven't actually checked to see what affinities you actually have. Jiraiya told him and then handed him the piece of paper. You see, when you pump some chakra into this piece of paper, we will learn your affinities, or in other words, we are testing to see what elements you are better at since birth. If it crumples, you have lighting; if it turns soggy, you have water; if it turns into dews, you are earth; if it burns, you are fire; and if it gets cut up, you have wind. Now most ninja usually only have one affinity, and if they are lucky two, so what are you waiting for? Pump some chakra into it already. Jiraiya told him and watched as Naruto did just that. In fact, they both watched Naruto's paper as it reacted to his chakra, but were both quite surprised by what happened. For Naruto's paper first cut straight in half, with one side getting cut up and the other getting completely soggy except for one corner where it surprisingly had a small flame on it. So you seem to have a high affinity to both wind and water with a very slight affinity to fire for some reason. Now for the fire, my only guess is that the Kyuubi's chakra gave you that, seeing as I have never seen someone have only a small reaction with one of these papers. Jiraiya explained, actually not completely sure himself if this theory was right. Course there was no way he would ever have Naruto even think of trying to ask the beast itself to see if it could lend some information. After all, even though it probably has knowledge of most things since the elemental nations formed, no one would ever trust it, seeing as it more than likely would be corrupted by the demon's view of the world and lowly humans. And now I put this in because I am pretty sure I haven't done a chakra paper scene yet. If I did, then oh well, my stupid mistake won't hurt much. I just was thinking of what to have his affinities being for a bit and finally wanted to show it, and no, I wouldn't just go the just have them all route. Wow, so I have two types to figure out then? Naruto asked, excited to have more jutsu to learn. Hey, yeah you do. Jiraiya told the happy boy before making 2 clones himself. Now make 200 clones and have half go with each of my clones. One of them will take you to a nearby pond so you can work on the first step of water nature, and the other will teach you how to use your wind nature. Jiraiya told him, then watched as all the clones left, leaving just Naruto and Jiraiya in the field. What about us? Naruto asked, confused, onto so Jiraiya's smirk grow vicious. You Naruto are going to train while they work on that. After all, what is the point of having all that powerful jutsu knowledge with nothing to back it up with in close range? Jiraiya explained. Clone Group 1, Wind. Okay clones, today we will be working to continue your training in wind. Now we already have you finished with cutting a leaf, but now we are upping the level to a whole new level. Jiraiya told the group before finding several trees that have already fallen down but still weren't too rotted out. Now you know the drill. Find a spot and start trying to cut it just using your chakra, and no, for now I don't care what method you use for now. Jiraiya told them, then watched as the clones got to work on the logs in various ways. Clone Group 2, Water. Okay clones, all of you are going to get your feet wet, so to speak. Jiraiya told them with a small chuckle while ignoring the groans the clones let out. Now we will be finding a body of water and I want you to work on drawing out a small orb of water from it. Jiraiya told him, then looked at all of the clones who were looking at him in surprise. What? Well, the boss already did that step accidentally while he was playing with some of the stuff in his scrolls one day. One of the many clones explained, surprising Jiraiya a bit. Then I guess I will have to see just how well you guys do then, and we can move to the next step, changing the direction of a river, or in your case a waterfall. Jiraiya told them with a smile, knowing that they were going to be cursing him when they realized just how hard this challenge would be. After all, he expects his students to not only be good but be the best of the best. Real Naruto and Jiraiya. After sending the clones out, Naruto was soon making up for lost times by doing several exercises that were surely going to leave Naruto completely sore for the next few days if he didn't have the ability to recover in only a few hours. And even though Naruto constantly was groaning as he felt his muscles burn, but still forced himself through it because he knew he had to get as strong as possible. So, with this stuck in his mind, he forced himself to complete each task until finally he was allowed a small break. Sadly, in this break he was stuck thinking about training and couldn't help but grow curious if he could combine his bloodline with some of his jutsu. So, finally having enough, he created yet another group of clones and sent them off to find out what could be done while he followed Jiraiya's torture training. A fact that made Jiraiya chuckle as he ate the small meal he bought from a restaurant in the village. He really is your kid, Minato and Kushina. I mean, he finally gets a break, and just like Minato gets some sort of idea stuck in his head and has to give it a shot. Meanwhile, like Kushina, where he finally gets a break from a training session that would exhaust most chunin and some jonin, but yet still decide to get some more training in on the side. Now I hope he will be destined for doing just as great things as you both have done. Jiraiya thought happily, letting his thoughts wander to his late student and said student's wife. Though he was also aware of the fact that they were being watched from the foliage a ways away from them, but due to not really giving out any secrets, he simply left whoever it is to whatever they wanted. In the foliage. After her talk with Naruto, she grew to somewhat like the blonde who she now felt to be a friend. So, instead of doing any of her normal hobbies, she decided to instead figure out just what he was up to that required him to randomly leave her home in such a rush. Course, she didn't expect to see such a big name in the ninja world like Lord Jiraiya of the Leaf to be with Naruto, but that just made her grow more curious. So, seeing as he seemingly either didn't notice her or didn't care that she was there, simply got comfortable and watched as Naruto trained, or in her mind was dragged through the mud by Jiraiya. And this is how the weeks passed into months for their group. Each day, Naruto would train for several hours doing whatever Jiraiya thought he needed to work on, while also sending out around 300 clones to work on both his elements but also on creating a few jutsu for himself. Naruto would then spend some time with Fu, simply either getting to know the girl some more or doing either random things for fun or even some light training. All in all, making their time in the village both painful and enjoyable for the blonde. Sadly, after spending around 3 months in the peaceful village, Jiraiya finally told him it was getting close to time for them to move on. A fact that Naruto tried to push off a little bit, but for some reason Jiraiya was adamant that they needed to go extremely soon but refused to tell Naruto why. Several hundred yards from Takigakure. Oi, why do we need to do this again? A random ninja complained as they walked towards the village. Like I told you before, we have to bring in some girl from this village to the leader so we can become a member of the Akatsuki. Another member of their group explained. For the 4 of them found themselves lucky enough to find one of the hidden bases for the mysterious group called the Akatsuki. Thankfully, there was only 2 members in said base, even if one of them was a crazy guy that nearly tried to instantly kill them. Luckily, the hunchback member stopped said man and gave them a proposition they couldn't refuse. For he said that if they brought them the girl in a photo he gave them and brought her to them, then he would let them become members of the Akatsuki. Something that for the 4 a rank missing ninja was a dream coming true. In fact, they were even given pure black cloaks to prove that it was a serious opportunity for them. So, they quickly went towards the village their seemingly random target was in to try to cash in on their golden opportunity. Soon it became night, and under the shroud of darkness they reached the village and quickly snuck through the gate with only minor delays thanks to one unlucky guard who found them but was quickly silenced. Okay, let's get this search started. Their unofficial leader whispered out, and with that they began their search for their target. Hidden in the trees above the village. Hey, you do remember that we can't do shit about who the leader picks to be in this fucking group, right? Hidan asked, looking down at all the people his partner refused to let him sacrifice to his lord. Yes, but those fools are an easy way for us to test our demon's skills. Plus if they do manage to defeat her and bring the girl in, you can do whatever you want with them, as long as they can no longer tell anyone about what they found out about us. Kakuzu told his partner, who smiled evilly. Finally I get to fucking sacrifice someone to Lord Jashin. Hidan told him happily while holding on to his side, looking forward to sacrificing someone. With Jiraiya. Jiraiya was calmly sitting on the roof of the hotel Naruto got for them, watching the four ninjas sneak into the village while most of the village slept. Now this put him on edge even more, for he got a recent message from one of the toads who helped keep his spies in contact with him, saying that the Akatsuki was coming towards this village soon. Something that troubled him, seeing as he did end up meeting and started to like the Jinchuriki that they surely were after. Sadly he couldn't help her too much, seeing as they could begin to wonder how he got his intel, so all he could do was get Naruto out of the way so they don't even think about going after him as well. Now of course he feels bad about not helping, but this is the ninja world, which was a tough place to live. So, he would get over his feelings and instead make sure he keeps his promise to his deceased student. Sorry Fu, but on the bright side it seems like these guys might be either not even associated with the Akatsuki or maybe just some poor saps that they somehow managed to get to do their dirty work. Jiraiya thought before going back into the hotel to get some rest after making sure his security seals were set up just in case. After all, he had no reason to go after these people, seeing as they were already on shaky grounds of peace with sneaking in to train here. He didn't want to start a commotion and damage the village, seeing as that would easily put him on the bad side of the civilians, which he was aware of being the real leaders of this place. Next morning. As soon as Naruto woke up, he quickly got cleaned up and dressed before running out of the hotel to go spend the last bit of time he could with Fu before they had to leave. Course what he missed was the fact that Jiraiya woke up annoyed that Naruto disappeared into the village before he could stop him. After all, he didn't want to take a chance on Naruto being targeted as well as Fu. Though now at least it seems he has no choice but to help Fu if those ninja were after her. Seeing as he was sure that she was the one Naruto was rushing off to see. So, he quickly got ready himself and geared up for both leaving the village and for the fight that he felt was coming really soon. With Naruto, he quickly reached Fu's home and jumped in to find the girl already awake and peacefully reading a book. That was of course until she heard him land on her wood floors and looked up from her book. Hey Fu, just wanted to see ya one last time before I have to head on. Naruto told her, clearly a bit upset about leaving. Oh, so you do have to leave now? Fu asked, really disappointed, seeing as they became close friends, which was something that she was severely lacking in the village. Still, for some reason that didn't seem to make her as upset as normal when she was around her blonde friend, but now that he had to leave she was terrified of going back to being pretty much utterly alone. Yes, sadly Ero Sennin wants to go sometime today. But later on you have to come see Konoha and I will introduce you to everyone. I am sure you would love it there. Naruto told her, wanting to try and keep her happy. I would like that, but when would you even be back to your home? Fu asked, knowing he still had a lot of his trip left. After all, he told her that he was still in the first year of his training, so that meant he had at least 2 whole years before he went anywhere near his village. Yeah, but still we gotta have you see it. Naruto told her, realizing that 2 years was still a long time to not see each other. Now feeling kind of awkward, he couldn't help but rub the back of his head while nervously chuckling a bit. Anyways, how about we go for one last walk through the woods? Naruto asked, trying to get away from his mistake. Hey, sure, she agreed, laughing a bit at the stupidity Naruto showed every now and then. And with that they began to randomly wander around the forest, simply enjoying the beauty of the nature around them while Fu played with some of the bugs that always congregated around where she was in the forest. Sadly, one of these bugs were the reason their happy moment was ruined yet again. For through several quick buzzes that she understood due to her biju, she learned of something that both upset her and clearly made her angry. Watch out Naruto, we apparently have company, and by the way the bugs see them, it ain't the friendly kind. Fu warned Naruto and quickly grabbed a kunai from her weapon pouch, with Naruto doing the same next to her. She then silently thanked the fact that she was a bit away from the village so they hopefully would not be affected. Course that is all she could think of before 4 group men in black cloaks appeared before them. Well, looks like we've finally found her, boys. One of the men told his group, happily, causing her to tense. What do you want with me? Fu asked, clearly annoyed. We want to capture you, Missy. For a certain friend of ours has made the price on your head something we could never refuse, to become a member of the Akatsuki. The man told her, causing both her and Naruto to tense. After all, they knew what these people being affiliated with said group meant, even if they seemingly had no clue. With that in mind, they quickly prepared for the fight that they now knew was unavoidable, while the men clearly were extremely confident in their ability to win, seeing as they didn't seem worried about facing them. Too bad they didn't seem to know just what they were dealing with. Meanwhile, Jiraiya finally caught up to Naruto and simply decided to watch now that he was too late to stop this from happening. After all, seeing as Naruto now couldn't escape, he might as well see how the kid does in a real fight instead of just going after him. Plus, now that he was closer, he could easily tell that these 4 ninjas were just low a rank at best, meaning the 2 Jinchuriki would tear through them if they used their Biju's chakra, but hopefully by now Naruto would be able to do pretty good against them without relying on that. After all, while he wants to weaponize the Biju in him, that doesn't mean he wants Naruto to be stuck constantly using one trick, even if it was basically an overpowered weapon even against the strongest people. Come on Naruto, show me that all this training we have been doing is worth something. Jiraiya thought as he got comfortable enough to watch, but ready to jump in and take out the enemy if he was ever needed. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you have any fanfictions you would like to see on the channel, leave them in the comments, and have a great day.